As the leader of the Booner Pack, I lead from the front.
All right, boys. Lock in.
It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
I'm fired up. I'm fired the f*** up, boys.
It's pumping right now. It's got my juices pumping, boys.
Welcome to Crunch Time Sports with Jeff, Booner, Lukas, Gentry, and Caleb. It is Friday, November 15th. We are back. Lots to get to today. Detroit Lions, Jacksonville Jaguars. We got our pick'em for the weekend. Previewing the game. We got some injury updates. Carlton Davis, Sam Laporta. And the Pistons are playing right now. We got Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. I mean, what's going on tonight, huh?
Big night. Big weekend.
Yeah. We got a lot going on. We got John Jones fighting. We got the Ghost fighting. We got a lot going on this weekend, fellas. And with Sunday, we'll be at Knapp's City Garage. So,
never been there. I'm excited to be there. Pumped up.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. This is home court for me. All right. Home court for me. I know the New Baltimore. It's the stomping grounds. So, very familiar. We got to turn that place up.
I was I texted you. I said, "Is this place like? Is it going to be live? We're gonna have some people there." And you're like, "Yep." So you have set the bar very high for this place. I'm excited. Whoa. Lions. You have. I said. You know me with the Lions.
It's a nice bar. It's awesome.
All right, I'm pumped up. Then I'm ready. I looked it up. Looked like there's a lot of good food there. I'm excited. You guys have only said good things about this place, so I'm pumped up for it.
It's gonna be a good time. A good time.
They got the banner in today. It'll be a fun time. So if you're out there, come say what up. But yeah, lots to get to today. Like I said, we got an injury update. Some of the guys that were kind of on the injury report during the week. We have an official
lock in, Jeff. Friday game week.
Hey,
it's game week.
Hey,
be better.
I'm fine. All right, one word. All right, give me some damn slack, Boone. All right, cut me some damn slack. Hey, look at him. He's frozen. You lock in. All right, here's the graphic. I'm not
frozen. I'm good. Could you see me?
Here's the graphic. All right, so we got official injury report. Sam Laporta is ruled out. Yeah, Sam Laporta, he's ruled out. I mean, it's not surprising. We kind of knew that was coming. Broderick Martin out, Iffy out, Emmanuel Mosley out, and Ben Neiman questionable. So that's the injury report as of right now. Carlton Davis did break his thumb, but he'll be wearing a cast, and he doesn't plan to miss any time because he's a dog. That's exactly why, because he's a dog.
He's a dog. Well, first off, Laporta obviously stinks, but I think this is something we kind of expected after the shoulder injury last week. Dan Campbell said he tried to go back in, wasn't really right. But one guy I think will 100%, well, actually I can't say that, but one guy I think we will see next week is Broderick Martin. I think he had some full practices this week. And I think this is a week that, they might not need him as much because it's Jacksonville. But Broderick Martin's going to be a guy I'm excited to see come back from injury, and Iffy as well. But, yeah, I mean, it might be Broderick Martin's season. He had a good offseason. Was this the offseason? There was videos of him pulling the I mean, guy's a beast.
Pulling the ATV.
Yeah, guy's a beast.
That's a grown man.
He is. I don't know what's going to happen with him and Iffy. It's a weird thing because like they both have been full practice now for I don't know what it's been now, 2 weeks, and they've been practicing. I think it's more so just them getting like their feet under them and getting back into game shape. Like, because Broderick had like the unbelievable off season and training camp. So like the Broderick one, I would love to see him finally back. I think they're just waiting until he gets back to that training camp shape. And like once they see, I think AG talked about it today, and he was just like, we just want to let him get back to who he is. So I think that's what's going on with Broderick. The Sam Laporta thing, it's like a perfect week for Sam Laporta to be out, honestly. Like and I know that's crazy. And I know there are a lot of people online too that are talking about trap week, this, that. And it does feel like a trap week, but I don't know if it's going to, like, they should win this. Like, it's a 13.5 point spread right now. Like, you need to win this football game, and I don't think like Sam Laporta being out will affect the game at all. I'm interested to see, honestly, though, like through these conversations, long term, the Carlton Davis thing. That's what I'm interested to see. I want to see what's going on with Carlton Davis because like a broken thumb. They said it was a clean break, but like, does he ever wear a cast the whole time on it? Like, what is he having to do? Are you good over there, Jeff? Klotz, we're doing a show in the background, brother. I can see you.
Hey, keep going.
Yeah, no, I am. I see the grins going on here. Locked in. I'm trying to be locked in.
I'm locked in.
Show Friday.
Yeah,
thank you, Caleb. Hey, Caleb. Thank you, Caleb.
Now the show. Okay, go on.
I'm just interested to see like if he's wearing a cast throughout the season. Like, how long is it going to take to heal? Like, what's going to happen with that? Like, is it going to affect him? Like, we saw the interceptions he had. Obviously, he's not like a massive ball hawk like Brian Branch or like Kirby. Like, if they had to wear a big cast, I would be a little worried about them. But with Carlton, it's still a little bit more like that's always affects someone. He said it's not going to affect him, but it still always will affect someone.
Yeah, I think when you look at top 3 most badass things in football, I think wearing a cast is one.
Oh, for
sure.
I
mean, CD and a cast, it's going to be awesome. But yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate it happened in practice, but I mean, he's a dog. He's going to be ready to go, cast or not. So, I mean, it's unfortunate. Obviously, you want your players to be fully healthy, but I think it'll be all good.
Can you pull the practice report up one more time?
Yes.
No Taylor Decker. Taylor Decker's back.
Yeah,
Taylor Decker's back.
Yeah, and the thing with Carlton is I'm not worried about it. I mean, the thumb, lower body for him, for corners, probably more important than anything. I mean, he should be fine. Now, Iffy, I'm excited to get back. I think they had the 21-day window, and this is week 2, so they have another week technically. Yeah. So I wouldn't play them either. I'd just wait till the last minute next week.
I said it when this happened. They had to I think if they didn't put them on the 21-day window, that they had to be out the rest of the year. Like some NFL rule, like once you get to a certain week, you're done for the year. And I think with Iffy, or no, maybe not with Iffy, but with Emmanuel Mosley and Broderick Martin, they were in that window to where it was like they had to come back. So whether they're going to play or not, like after next week, I'm guessing it's like after the Colts game that Monday, they all 3 of them are going to have to be on the roster. You're going to have to put them on the 53-man. No matter what, or you have to cut them, and you're not probably going to do that.
All right, let's get in Klotzy here. It's crappy Ohio State hoodie. I mean, look at this guy.
Stand up. Stand up.
Hey, what up, Klotz?
How we doing, fellas?
What up, Klotz?
Doing good, Klotzy. Hey, appreciate you interrupting my. I'm just kidding. Hey. I love you. The only reason I hate it is because of that Ohio State shirt. I see the man in the background holding up the Ohio State.
I was in the beater. I was in the beater when you got upset. Don't pull that now. This was pre-Ohio State.
Hey, are we gonna forget? Are we gonna forget my impact player segment? Everyone's. Hey, you move forward.
Said something funny. You said something funny.
You be a pro. All right.
Yeah, be a pro, Klotzy.
No, you lock in. You be a pro.
Don't get me going. I'll start flaming everyone in here. Don't get me going.
Do it, bro. Whoa.
I'm feeling good today. It's a Friday. Mike Tyson, Jake Paul tonight. Tomorrow get to watch college football all day. I was thinking about it actually. Like football's coming to an end already, boy. Like not to an end, but like, they're in week 10, week 11 of college football. There's a couple weeks left of college football until the bowl games. Like
it's kind of that last week. It's like
depressing.
Time flies when you're having fun.
At least college football season, Boone, there's going to be like probably 2-3 extra weeks more than normal as far as actual games that matter.
Usually you get those weeks off. Like you play week 12, week 13. I think it's like week 13. And then you get a couple weeks off until bowl games. Well, no, you get the conference championships. And then you get like 3 or 4 weeks until like the real bowls start. And then you have the Navy Army game. Now it's like with the college football playoffs, like I think you get 1 weekend off, and that's Navy Army, and then it's boom, you're right into like the big games, college football playoff games, so week 1, that first week. There's no time off now. No time.
I saw ETN said are we all team Tyson tonight. I already got a bet in here for Jake Paul.
Me too. So I did the same thing.
Sorry, and I love Mike. Don't like Jake, but now we're just listen. That's what's going to happen.
Scripted. It's so.
That's all it is.
Yeah, they already know who's going to win that fight. It's the fight's over.
I don't think Jake Paul would have taken this fight if he wasn't going to win. And like I love Mike Tyson. I've been and honestly on this show, guys, I've been the one that's been like, come on, like respect your elders, respect Mike Tyson. Like I wanted him to win. As it's gotten closer. And we could all, I think we all can agree, we're all Team Tyson. Like, if Mike Tyson wins tonight and I lose my money, I'm the happiest man in the world. That's we got to see a legendary thing happen.
Yeah.
The man is in his 60s. And about to be. Dude, I saw some videos of him where he looked good. And then I saw some different angles to where it's like, yeah, he just looks old. And it's like, that's just an old man. And then it's like, I looked at I saw some of his records for when he kind of ended his career and he started losing towards the end of his career. And that was in the 90s. And we're talking 30 years later after, he lost 3 of his last 4 fights. and he starts slowing down a little. And now you're 30 years later. It's like, I don't know.
The thing is like, what does Mike Tyson gain by winning tonight?
Money.
Absolutely nothing. Like, he'll get some money, but he's going to get paid more if he loses, I'm sure, off the ballot. Like, Jake Paul will be like, hey, Jake Paul, he gets to keep that narrative going of how he's a professional boxer, which credit to him. He's gotten more legitimate as time goes on, but it's like, dude, you beat Mike Tyson, but you beat him when he was like 80 and dog.
Yeah.
It doesn't even count. Like Mike probably doesn't need the money, but he's probably getting a bag offer. Hey, why not?
Can I play the video of, or I don't know if you guys want, but the video of the girl interviewing him, like trying to be like, I want like getting some inspiring words out of him, like for the future kids. And he just shuts her down. He's just like,
hey,
should I play it?
Well, yeah, sure, you can grab it. Mike's known. That's his MO. Like for fight week, he turns into like an absolute killer. Like he's
a terrifying human.
He goes, mentally, he has to like alter his.
That's why I think there's a chance. Like, there's a chance we see Mike just kill Jake Paul. It's one punch. Like for Mike Tyson, whether you're 60 or 20 or 10, dude. For him, like, who was the guy that interviewed them at the weigh-ins? He said, I saw him on a video say that when that happened and Mike Tyson got pulled back, he's covered fighting for his whole career. I don't know, Jeff, you probably know his name. He said he has never in his life covering fighting. Ariel. Ariel said he was like, I have never seen the look that I saw out of Mike Tyson's eyes. He looked like he was going to eat my head off.
That's awesome.
Like, I was interviewing it. He was like, I've never seen it. So I do think there's an aspect of this situation, this fight, to where if Mike flips that switch and he connects once with Jake, it doesn't matter for anyone. If you get hit by a Mike Tyson right hook or something, good night. And I think there's a chance to where it's like Mike's he's gonna flip that switch. He's gonna become the killer. And that's why, Jeff, I told you, I almost wanted to bet Mike.
And I love it, guys. I do. I appreciate that. Like his legacy is already said and written. He's, like the greatest heavyweight boxer, the most powerful, the by far the scariest of all time. Like his legacy's already written. I do feel genuinely bad for him. Like, I do not want to see anything happen to Mike tonight. Like, I just don't. I'm going to watch. Of course I'm going to watch. That's why I bet on Jake. Like, I don't even like Jake, guys, but like the fact is he's damn near almost 60. He doesn't move the same. Even though he looks fast, trust me, it's not. I mean, Jake's been training with guys like around his age. It's going to be, even though Mike still has the power. I mean, dude, like his chin is not what it used to be. With age, it's a little easier to get knocked out. You know what I mean? It's and I know the public. Speaking of JT's massive purpose, the public's on Mike Tyson.
Yeah, it's always that's shocking. Actually, I think
it's just because of the juice. You get him at plus 210. You could only get Jake Paul at minus 210 or something, minus 190.
If he wins, it's by knockout. There's no way. I do not see Mike going the distance. There's no way. 16 minutes of straight box. I mean, he's gonna.
Maybe. I mean, hey, I don't know. Like when you get older, I don't know if that affects your fatigue, but I feel like Mike's in shape.
Yeah, I know. I
feel like he could sit there just
my dad's Mike's age, and he's like in pretty good shape. My dad calls him. He's like, he's gonna get his ass. I go, Dad. Like if my dad was fighting a 26-year-old, like I know it's different, but let's just say off a guy off the street. I love my dad in shit. I'd be like, Dad, you're gonna get this guy's quicker than you. It's just like it's a problem. You know what I mean?
He's been there before.
Yeah, he's been there. Like sometimes youth. I know. All the OG boxing fans are like, yeah, Mike, go get his ass. I think they're going to be upset at the end of the night. They're going to be pretty upset.
This is when they see Jordan get to play against today's era, but Jordan's still the same age. Like it'd be like Jordan going in and playing for like, I don't know, throw him on the Pacers. He's going up against the Lakers for one night.
You know what it'd be like? Now, I don't even know if it'd be quite like this. It'd be like Jerry Rice right now jumping into the NFL and just one-on-one with like the best corner in the league. And everyone's like, yeah, Jerry, you got this, Jerry. It's like, I love Jerry. He's getting clamped. You know what I mean? Like I'm sorry.
Saying Jake Paul is the best on planet Earth, huh?
Well, he's got power for sure. I don't know how good he is. When he fought a boxer, he lost. But
he did. That's the thing where I'm a little bit like, you never know. You never know.
Yeah,
I think Mike. I almost and Jeff. I'm like this close to cashing out of my bet and just making it go the distance. Like I'm that close. I'm so close. It's the same odds essentially. I want to cash out so bad and just
Jake just drops him in the first like 30 seconds.
That would suck. That would suck.
I'm telling you, it's.
And Tyler Chevay said Paul hasn't fought anyone the caliber of Tyson. That's the thing. It's like
Guys,
Tyson might not be the caliber he was in the 90s. We're talking 30 years later.
Yes, that's the thing. Like Tyler in theory is correct, but like the caliber of Tyson, dude, he's 60 years old. Like the man is they had to delay the fight because he had a medical emergency. Like this isn't the big bad wolf Mike Tyson. Like he's still scary. I would never. I mean, dude, you would fuck up.
And he's still one of the greatest of all time.
Yes,
dude.
No doubt.
Like in his prime, guess what? Jake's not beating him in his prime. Never would touch him.
Yeah, no one is.
And Jake Paul came out today. Jake Paul came out today and was like, "I would beat him in any era." Dude, no, you wouldn't.
No.
Yeah, shut up, man. No,
you get killed.
He will
get killed by Mike Tyson in the 90s, 80s, and 90s.
He's representing your state tonight, Klotz.
Yeah,
he's representing Ohio.
Yeah, I was hoping we were going to bring that up, but yeah.
Can I play this video, boys?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's one of the funniest videos I think I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
it is elite. Let me know if you guys can hear.
Opportunity for kids my age to see the legend Mike Tyson in the ring for the first time. So after such a successful career, what type of legacy would you like to leave behind when it's all said and done?
Man, I don't know. I don't believe in the word legacy. I just think that's another word for ego. Legacy doesn't mean nothing. That's just some word everybody grabbed onto. Someone said that word and everyone grabbed on the word, so now it's used every 5 seconds. It means absolutely nothing to me. I'm just passing through. I'm going to die, and it's going to be over. Who cares about legacy after that? What a big ego. So I'm going to die. I want people to think that I'm this, I'm great. No, we're nothing. We're just dead.
I'm dead.
We're dust. We're absolutely nothing. Our legacy
This guy's a fucking psychopath.
Thank you so much for sharing that. That is something that I have not heard before someone say that as an answer.
Legacy is nothing.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. That is something that I have not heard before someone say that as an answer.
Can you really imagine?
I've never heard that.
I want my legacy to be this way when I get dead. Why do you want to think I really want to think about you? How what's the audacity? I think I want people to think about me when I'm gone. Who the fuck cares about me when I'm gone?
Oh my god,
True.
dude. She was like a girl trying to do her, start her broadcasting career. I don't know, or whatever. She's in it, but like just out here, just trying to get like a good answer from Mike Tyson.
Psychotic break in front of her.
Shuts her down.
Dude,
she's like, "Thank you so much for sharing that with us."
It's like if you're like Mike Tyson's PR agent, you're like, you were just talking to like a 13-year-old, right? Mike,
I wonder if he can't even have a PR agent. I doubt he even does.
He is his PR agent.
Who has the nuts to tell, hey, Mike, you can't say that. Mike, don't post this. Mike, don't go on this pod. Like Mike Tyson's gonna do whatever the fuck Mike Tyson wanted to do.
Yeah.
He could walk up to Trump, whoever, like whatever he wants to, president wise, do whatever the fuck he wants, and no one's stopping him. He's his own PR.
To be honest,
where's
my phone?
Just don't step on his feet. Just don't step on his feet. He don't like.
Don't put him on a hoverboard either. Dude, that video of him eating shit on a hoverboard is one of the funniest videos I have ever seen in my life.
Also, can someone smarter than me explain why Jake Paul got 40 mil and Mike Tyson got 20? I mean, Mike Tyson's one of the most famous people on the planet.
Yeah,
he's. I would assume it. Well, it's Jake's. I think it's his promotion doing it's his promotion.
Yeah.
Like so,
in all the brands and stuff. I'm sure
he's going to inherently get more. But I think also on top of that, he's doing a majority of the promotion. Or excuse me, yeah. Like you don't see Mike on social media. Like he does some interviews, but Jake's the one that's going to sell them. You know what I mean? A ton of them. It's Mike Tyson, but Mike ain't doing no work like that. He's like, I'm going to go and fight this guy.
Mike
this is a disaster.
A couple of years ago, like in one of these kind of things, I forget who it was against, but it's like
I can't cash out.
You're like, dude, trust me, Boone, you're making money. Don't cash out. You're going to make money. I promise you. It's unfortunate, but that's the reality of it. Hey, by the way, boys, I just want to say,
I think it goes distance, man.
Mike can't go the distance.
No, that's the thing.
16 minutes. He can go 16 minutes.
It's like boxing 16 minutes. That's a long time, bro. If you just swing, if you set a timer for 5 minutes and you just like shadow box, you will do 16 minutes of that. You'll be fucking throwing. It's a long time. And he's 60 years old. I don't know.
He had 4 decades on top of it after, too.
Yeah. It's, we'll see. Hey, boom. Maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it's a good thing. You know what I mean? Maybe
Dude, I just wanted to. I'd like the option to cash out so I can go bet I want to bet the distance.
Hey, when he knocks him out, don't be like, Jeff, we want. No, I'm going to say Boone. This is why.
Thank you. I'll thank you.
Hey, because trust me, we got it. We got this shit. You know who doesn't have it? Commanders last night didn't have it. I don't know what happened.
Hey, it's one game. It's one game. And they were on the road. They were on the road.
Man?
One game on the road. That's all.
Was that big game Cliff Kingsbury showing up or what?
No, but I would like to have this conversation.
You've been raving about Cliff. Don't even.
He's a good offensive coordinator, but remember the Cardinals days? Always, there'd be games where you're like, what the fuck's going on with Cliff Kingsbury? He'd be good for a majority of it, but late in the season, Cliff, I don't know what happens with Cliff. If something happens.
Listen, tough game. It's one game. When they go into D.C., into the Meadowlands, that's when we'll be talking. Hey, fine win now. Those Eagles, they didn't look too good either. Saquon looked great.
They
Those
did.
Eagles, they look exposable. So my takeaway is there's not one team sniffing the Detroit Lions because Doc was hyping up the Commanders as a true threat. Me and Boone thought that the Commanders are the better team, yet to be proven, but there's still a lot of time in the season, still a lot of time for it to be changed around. As of right now, our dog is not in the fight, but I will say, Jalen Hurts, rough. That defense for a majority of the game, rough. I think the Lions are levels above the Eagles, but tough loss for the Durs, that's for sure. Gramps wasn't too happy.
First of all, Klotzy, and I hate to do this to you.
Did they already play?
No. Did you say the Meadowlands?
Yeah, I always do that with Washington. I don't know.
All right. You threw me off. I was like, what team are we talking about here? I was like, are we talking about New York? I was like, oh, no, Klotzy.
Yeah,
this is not good.
Hey, it's on me.
Hey, no, we're on the same team here with this, so I have to make sure that we're all 100% in this versus Jeff. I would rather say it, and then unless Jeff being like, oh, metal, and try and dunk on us. We're not letting that happen. No, guys, I'm fine. Commanders are going to be just fine. I do want to make this this conversation. I was talking to you guys last night about this. Oh,
holy
Mike Reed.
What the fuck? Mike fucking Reed.
Let's go, Mike.
Man.
Mike's a legend. We got to meet Mike in Rochester when he did one of the watch parties. Unbelievable.
Wow. Oh, wow. Shout out Mike Reed, man.
Great person.
Absolutely.
Shout out.
Great dude.
Team. He says Team Tyson, but let's talk Lions. Go Lions. Let's fucking go. You guys are legends. Mike Reed, we love you, man. Team Tyson, you know what? For Mike Reed, now I'm a Tyson fan. All right. Well, if he wins, I will win money tonight. It's a win-win, Boone, because if he loses, we win money. And if he wins, it's like, it's Tyson, dude. You know what I mean? You want to see him win. So I really don't give a shit.
Tyler Chavez said, this is my Mike Reed. This is our friend.
Mike Reed.
Shout out Mike Reed.
We bleed blue.
That's
so
that dude.
That's
something.
Unbelievable.
Of the year.
Yeah, shout out to him. But no, real quick too. I know we have to get into all this Lions stuff, but with the Commanders, guys, unbelievable from Dan Quinn and that offensive staff. I don't know if you guys realize this, and I felt like I was on Twitter trying to see if I was the only one that noticed this. They were, and I told we were playing PGA, me, Jeff, Ankit, and Caleb. And I said, I think they let them score on purpose to make it a 2-possession game to where they had a situation to where they had 2 timeouts, the 2-minute warning. All they had to do, there was about 4 minutes left, 4:20 or something, 4:15. All they had to do was go down within 2 minutes. It was a 2-minute drills. Go down in 2 minutes, score a touchdown. And then as soon as you get that touchdown, you have 2 timeouts of the 2-minute warning to get a stop. Guys, they ran the ball 5 times, and they just threw they were like, we're done, and they just ran the ball, and they let the clock run all the way down in that possession under the 2-minute warning, and they didn't score until 30 seconds, and they just kept running the ball. It was like they just gave up on the game when it was very clear all you have to do is score a touchdown in 2 minutes. You have a timeout, 2 timeouts in the 2-minute warning, and you're right back in the game. It was one of the most ridiculous, boneheaded mistakes I think I've ever seen out of a coaching staff in the NFL, ever. ever.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm crazy, but that was how I looked at it. I was explaining it to the guys last night, and it made sense to me. Like, I was like, am I missing something here?
Yeah, that was ridiculous. They showed no sense of urgency on offense, and when you score a touchdown, it's only a 1-possession game when you get the 2-point conversion. Like, they ran the ball, like you said, like 5 times in a row and didn't call timeouts. And then they score a touchdown, they get the 2-point conversion, there's like 30 seconds left, and you're counting on an onside kick. That was one of the – I mean, if you're a player, you have to be pissed off at that point. Like, let's go try to win this game. Let's stop running the ball. We have the ball in plus territory. Let's take some shots to the end zone. And they just didn't. I mean, they scored and got the 2-point, but – I mean, they lost by 1 possession.
On top of that, with like 3 minutes something left, they took a random timeout. So they were out of the 3 timeouts. So like, it was like, okay, they're going to take the 1 timeout because they knew they had the 2-minute warning and they have to score quick. And then they just took their time, wasted the timeout. It was like they didn't want to win. It was one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen in my life. Just randomly using a timeout, and made sense, but then just to run the ball and run it all the way down to 30 seconds without, like, you might as well have just saved that timeout so you had a chance with 20 seconds left. Like, it was crazy. I've never seen that before.
They're there. Got out coached by Nick Sirianni. Wow. It was an incredible game. Honestly, and if the Eagles kicker wasn't, just incapable for whatever reason, missed out on like 7 points. So should have been a touchdown extra on that one, but
Woulda.
We'll let it slide.
Jake Elliott.
No, I am with you, Klotz. Watching that game, I'm like, oh my God. The Lions, like, you look at the competition. I'm excited to watch the 49ers square off with the Seattle Seahawks this weekend, just to see, like, I'm watching other teams here because, like, man, this NFC, like, the Falcons take on the Broncos. We'll get to that later. It's like, dude, what are we doing? Like, the NFC, man, is not great. A couple good teams, but Lions are in their own class. I mean, seriously, when you watch these teams, like the Eagles are so sloppy. I mean, the fact that they won and should have won by more is even surprising. So that was the bigger takeaway. So I agree there. For the game this Sunday, fellas, give me some keys. Speaking of, the Eagles had their own keys to victory to beat the Commanders. What about the keys to victory to beat the Jags? I think there's one key. All right, you know what that key is?
Arden.
Very simple. If you want to take down a team, you're heavy favorites, by the way, by 2 scores. Play your game. You're going to smoke this team. Like, this is the keys to victory. Jared Goff, you can't turn the ball over. That is it. I mean, honestly, do not turn the ball over. They're going to get whatever they want in both the passing and running game. They are. So that is especially a number one key. We do it every week, but it's only really against like the Titans. We emphasized it. This team, we're going to emphasize it. Like the turnovers. I know they can win no matter what, but you'd rather not let Mac Jones get a short field, dude. He stinks. I mean, he just does. He stinks, and he's a check down king, and he's going to be throwing to the running backs. So, if you're looking at this defense and what to kind of expect, Zadarius Smith, I'm excited to see his effect, because I do expect this defensive line to go out there and show out. I do. I think this is. I thought the Jags. I mean, Cleveland, their guard, who's pretty good. I don't even know if he's playing. I haven't seen officially, but their offensive line, it's all right. Pass blocking, not great run blocking. They're going to struggle to run the ball. I mean, this to me is looking like a game where if the Lions just take care of the football, stick to their identity. Ben Johnson calls a clean game. Let's lean on the run game here. This offensive line will literally win the game single-handedly, I think. They will. So in terms of keys, guys, take care of the football, stick to your identity, and let's get after Mac Jones and make this dude fold. Let's make this dude fold like a cheap lawn chair. That's the keys to victory for me.
Okay. So, all right. I love that. This is where I'm going to go with it. You said part of my one big key, I think, of this game. One thing I want to see in this game, and I think will benefit a lot going forward, not just in this week, but going forward, is, and I know Mac Jones isn't Trevor Lawrence. I know that. I would love to see this defensive line go out there. We talked about it the other day, getting 5+ sacks, plus 470. I would love to see the Detroit Lions defensive line go out there and just dominate Mac Jones this weekend. Dominate them. And what I want to, what I want to see out of this? We talk about all the time. All these people, Booner, the Detroit Lions defense, they give up all these passing yards, 300, 400, 500, 600. All these, like, they're one of the worst in the league. I would love Mac Jones to have like 150 passing yards. We see it out of quarterbacks all the time around the NFL. Play your game defense. Do what you do best. Hey, why not just shut down Mac Jones completely on Sunday? That's where I think it's like, because like we could say keys to the game, guys, like turnovers, finishing in the red zone, getting sacks, doing that. Like this game, like it's a 13.5 point spread. For me, it's like for keys to victory, it's like, what do I want to see them do this week to be able to carry over next week to Indy, to Green Bay, to Chicago? Like that's where I'm kind of, my mind goes with this. And I think it starts with like, hey, I would love to see them shut down a quarterback. It is a backup quarterback, just like when Mason Rudolph. You remember what Mason Rudolph did the first quarter with Calvin Ridley? Just bow. I would like them to completely shut down. Just don't let Mac Jones get anything. Maybe he gets 0 passing yards. Don't let him get under 200. That's my goal. Can we do like maybe like on the stream? We could do like a thing up in the corner that says Booner's goal, and we'll start with 200 on there, and we'll take it down as it goes, and then we just can't hit zero.
Okay.
What do you think?
I like the idea. I think it'd be something that would definitely be incremental and very, very critical for our game plan this week as far as the stream. I think that'd definitely be a nice little wrinkle that we could throw on there. But I'm with you. The only thing as far as key to the game is score more than 7 points, because Jacksonville picked off Sam Darnold 3 times last week at home and only scored a touchdown. And I don't think, if you look at that defense in Minnesota right now, it started off very hot. There's still a good defense, but right now the Detroit Lions defense is better at Ford Field, adding Zadarius Smith. John Parker Romo single-handedly won the game for the Minnesota Vikings. So you put Jake Bates on the field 3 times inside the 50, the game is over. So they could play worse than they did against the Houston Texans, and they'll still find a way to win this game. That's how bad Jacksonville is. So just show up, put on the cleats, and score more than 6 points, because I think it's going to be hard for Jacksonville to even do that.
Yeah, Jeff, those 3 words you said in the beginning is exactly what I wrote down is play your game. Win in the trenches, control the tempo with the run game. And I wish I pulled up the stats, but Jacksonville is so bad against the play action. If you could run the ball all over them and then have JG pull one back and hit J-Mo deep, this is going to be a big game for Jared Goff. Like, he has to come in, and he threw 5 picks last week. This is going to be a turnaround game for Jared Goff. I think they're going to let him sling it. But, yeah, just win the game in the trenches, get after Mac Jones, and you're going to come out victorious and probably cover that big spread.
Yeah, their defense, I will say, if you want to, because they are an NFL team, all right, they're not good, but their defense is better. It's like sneaky, you know what I mean? It's not like a good defense, but they got some guys on there that can make some plays. Like their defensive line, they got some guys specifically, but you know, their passing game. I mean, even they turned the ball. They forced 3 turnovers against the Vikings. Sam Darnold still threw for 250 passing yards. I mean, Jared's gonna throw for a ton of yards. I mean, I looked, and we can get to the conversation a little bit here. Just got his over-under, because this line is it feels like it's at a good spot. It's not like super high. It's not super low. It's just at a pretty good spot. But this defense, to me, this Jags defense, I'm excited to see what defense we get from the Jags. And I mean, regardless, the Lions are going to kind of get what they want from them. I mean, like you said, Caleb, play action game. If they're running the ball effectively, this offense is, and they're not turning the ball over, it's pretty much possible to stop. Like the Texans, they turned the ball over 5 times, but a lot of that was like tipped passes, and they found ways to. That's how you have to beat the Lions. I mean, you just have to like force mistakes, basically, because if they don't have mistakes in terms of turnovers, I mean, they're gonna put up 30 on them. You know what I mean? Like, unless the Jags can get busy and start scoring points.
I will say, I know Mac Jones is starting, but their losses, 8 of their losses, 6 of them have been 1-possession games. So it's like you don't know what Jags team you're going to get, even with Mac Jones. I know last week there's a Mac Jones one, but like that defense, like they do have some pieces, and they offensively they have a couple pieces. So it's like if you let Travis Etienne get hot, if you let Brian Thomas get hot. So I do think you have to make sure you show up still. Like, it's 13.5 points, but it's like, hey, don't get caught slipping. Like, hey, offense too. Like, you cannot get caught slipping on a 13.5 point spread.
Yeah, no. I mean, Doug Peterson is sitting on the hottest seat in the NFL right now, so he's gonna have his boys ready. But just a quick question for you guys: are you guys more confident in the Lions covering this spread, or before the Titans game when that spread was 12.5?
I mean, for me personally, I think this spread, because I think the Lions, especially Jared Goff, like you kind of just said, they kind of had a stinker last week in Houston. They should have won that game soundly if they would have played clean football, or just at least cleaner football. So I think the Lions right now, it wasn't a trap game where they lost, but that performance was a trap for them. So I think they kind of woke up a little bit. They got a lot of momentum with Zadarius Smith coming back. And if you look forward, they got the Colts coming. They got to go on the road next week, so they're not going to be sleeping. And then they got the NFC North. So I think this team's dialed in right now, especially after last week. So I'm very confident in this. Not to mention, I just think the Titans, like especially defensively, had more to offer, and the Lions still put up 52 points. So I'm going to go this spread. I'm more confident in.
Yeah, I'll say I do agree with Klotz. I think in terms of I guess coaching, I feel comfortable where Doug Peterson's at right now. That he's grabbing at straws at this point. I mean he's pretty desperate, and the team isn't as good. Like the Titans defense was something they hang their hat on, or they hung their hat on. The Titans defense is good. I mean the Jags they show some flashes defensively, but I think at least the Titans had a unit you could look at and be like, okay, they got some guys, even though the special teams unit took over that game and it wasn't really an offense defense battle. It was really special teams dominating. But this Jags team, I'm more comfortable they can cover. I'm more comfortable.
Yeah. I think it's so close because I was pretty confident in the Titans game. I felt like that was going to be a blowout. I think everyone did, especially with Mason Rudolph at quarterback. Like there was never going to be a chance. I think they're both two similar situations. I'll go the Titans. I think that Titans game was going to be a blowout all along. Like I think this game has a better chance of potentially just maybe keeping it close for. I mean, the Titans kept close too, 14-14 until they just absolutely opened up the door and dominated them for the game. So I think it's a similar situation. I probably would have said the Titans because I still think just seeing the Jags having 6 of their 8 games be one possession games. That's where I'm just like, we had to take this team. I don't want to go into here and not take them serious. And everyone's just like, remember last week we all were like, oh, we're going to blow the Texans out. And then it's like we're down 18 points like that. And you're like, oh, whoa, what happened? I don't want to get in that position again this week. Not doing it. Not me.
No, not at all. Well, and at least with Jared, I mean, the line right now, passing yards, 228.5. So, I mean, in terms of Jared bouncing back, I certainly think this is a big opportunity. I mean, for him, you come off last game, 5 interceptions. I mean, you get to face a team, this secondary in the Jags, not great. I'll ask you, like, over or under. The passing yards, so is it 228.5 over under, and then the passing TDs, you think he gets more than 1.5? Honestly, I'll go over on both. Like, I think he's going to shred this Jags secondary, I think Jared's going to be locked in. I mean, he knows the narrative. He pays attention to some extent. He saw, I'm sure, across some social media he has, whatever he uses, that he was in the MVP conversation. I'm sure people have talked about it, and he saw the game he had last week. And not that Ben's going to specifically make it so Jared's throwing a bunch of, he's throwing a bunch of pass attempts, but I think he'll just have success on Sunday. I do. I mean, they're going to run the ball. Jameer and David are going to get theirs, but I think Jared can end this game with like 240, 250, 2 TDs easily. So I'm going to go over on both of those.
On both, really?
Yeah. I think Jared Goff has a nice day.
Yeah, you know what? Hey, Jeff, let me roll with you a little bit here on that. I thought last week was the Jared Goff bounce back week. That's what it is this year, or this week. He's having a bounce back week this week. Like, take advantage of this Jags defense. Go out, let Amon-Ra go off, let J-Mo go off. No Sam Laporta, get Gibbs out in space. Like, yeah, I'm with you. I'll take the over on the passing yards and give me the over 1.5 touchdowns. I think we finally see like what we've been waiting to see Jared Goff over the last couple of weeks. I was interested. I mentioned it to you, Jeff. Like, I'm very interested to see like that Titans game. Jared Goff throws for 90 yards. They win by 5 touchdowns. So, like, are we going to see that again, or are we going to see them let just Jared Goff sling it for 300 yards and 3 or 4 touchdowns? Hey, give me the 3 or 4 touchdowns and the 300 yards. Why not?
I love it.
It's really hard for me to see a situation outside of Khalif Raymond having like a huge game on special teams like he did against the Tennessee Titans for Jared Goff not to have at least 2. I don't know what the numbers are off the top of my head, but I feel like most games this year, Jared Goff has thrown 2 touchdowns. Obviously, hasn't done it every week, but even that game against Tennessee where he had 85 passing yards, I believe he had 3 passing touchdowns. So, in my opinion, I'd go over on both. I'm more confident in the touchdowns than the yards, but like you said, Jeff, like Sam Darnold threw for over 222 or whatever the line's at, 220 passing yards.
228.
Jared Goff, 228. Jared Goff, I think, will easily do that as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be a big focus for this offense this week to get Jared Goff back on track. Maybe even get him back in the MVP talks if he goes off this week. Just because I feel like if you're the best team in the NFC on the best offense in the league, it's going to be hard to keep you off the MVP talks. But yeah, I'm going over on both. I could see him getting around like 240, and then I like 3 touchdowns. I think he'll throw 3 of them, and one of them might be to Brock Wright. I mean, Brock Wright anytime touchdown. Brock Wright anytime touchdown is begging to hit. So yeah, I'm going to go the overs with Jared Goff.
Okay, real quick. I'm sorry, Caleb. Jared Goff MVP's dead.
It's Caleb.
Look,
I'm a big.
Here.
I get it. Does anyone disagree with that? By the way,
No. No, I heard even
I think it's cooked. Like I do. I think, and it's not like I'm not saying every interception was his fault, but that's just the facts. Like it's. I think could he sneak into like top 6, maybe top 7, maybe? Yeah. I just don't think like he'll be a finalist. I don't think there's no way. I don't.
I think there's a chance that he does become a finalist. I think there's a 0% chance he's the MVP this year. Like that, the finalist, like the bold prediction that I had of him being in LA or wherever they do the awards at, him being there, I wouldn't be shocked. But there's no way. Stephen A. Smith was one of the biggest national media guys that was on Jared Goff, and he came out I think yesterday or the day before, and he was like, "Guys, like I've been all over Jared Goff, him MVP," and he was like, "You can't throw for 5 interceptions in the game and win the award. Yeah, that's tough. I don't know if any MVP has ever done that in the season."
Yeah, I don't think there's a chance either, honestly. I mean, look, the way Lamar Jackson has been playing, I mean, and Josh Allen as well. I mean, it's going to be hard to keep up with them, especially when you throw 5 picks in a game, which, dude, is the craziest thing of all time. I've been it's just been popping in my head like a couple times this week where I'm like, he really threw 5 interceptions in one game. It's crazy.
Yeah, and he stayed aggressive. That's what I do. I do appreciate about Goff. He it is a lot, but again, like Dion, we talked with him about it. We talked about it. Like 3 of those are kind of, you know what I mean? That would, but they're still 5. So that's what I mean for MVP. They're still 5.
I do love the narrative though, and Steve said it, and I think we had talked about it a couple of days ago. The narrative of, hey, who cares about regular season MVP? He's going to win a Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl MVP. Like, would you guys rather have a Super Bowl MVP or a regular season MVP?
Well, that's still on the table. Super Bowl
in your
MVP.
career.
I'm
asking you guys, what would you rather have?
Oh, Super Bowl MVP.
Give me the bowl.
Super Bowl.
Yeah. Give me the Super Bowl MVP.
The award that was ripped away from Juwan Jennings.
Odell Beckham Jr. could have had one, I think. Yeah, Rams Bengals Super Bowl. He was balling in that game. Then he tore his ACL in that game.
The real king, Cooper Kupp, showed up.
Now, who do you think, at least offense, defense? Give me a player on both sides of the ball you think should at least must have a big game. And I already kind of gave mine. You guys know where I stand, but one player on each side of the ball you guys think needs to ball out for the Lions to cover the spread, at least blow out the Jags.
I think just to get back in rhythm, I think it needs to happen, but I would love to see David Montgomery have a big game because he kind of struggled last week. Again, we kind of went over it. Wasn't necessarily just his fault, but you could just see last week it was kind of an off week for D-Mon. He fell in the end zone, but production-wise, when it comes to in between the tackles, there wasn't much of it. When, like Caleb said, Jags defense is terrible against play action. You like setting up the play action passing attack with David Montgomery. Let him beat up on the Jaguars front 7. Get Jahmyr Gibbs in there. Keep the momentum that he's been going. But I think it's pivotal, especially going to divisional play soon, that you get David Montgomery going. And then defensively, I just think, again, keep doing what you're doing best. Play your game like you guys said. Brian Branch, go out there and just inferior your opponents in front of you. Brian Branch, when he's on defense, he's going to be the best player on the field, and if he shows it, this game will be just fine. If David Montgomery and Brian Branch both show up and play to the caliber that they know they can, this game is not going to be close. So I'm going to go with David Montgomery and Brian Branch. Obvious ones, but I just think that's what they need to do this week.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with, on the defensive side of the ball, I'm gonna go with Carlton Davis, just because I think it's a known fact in the NFL now that you're not gonna be able to run the ball on the Detroit Lions, and the Jags are out Tank Bigsby, so they're gonna be trying to throw it, even though they don't have Trevor Lawrence. And Carlton Davis is gonna be matched up with Brian Thomas for most of the game, and that's probably their best offensive player. So I'm gonna go Carlton Davis on the defensive side, and then offensively, Like I said, the Jaguars are terrible against play action. They're terrible against the pass. I'm going to go Jameson Williams on the offensive side. I think he's going to have a huge day.
I love it.
6 catch, 110-yard. I think he finds the end zone.
Oh.
So, yeah, Carlton Davis, Jameson Williams. And I'm going to add another one on offense, too. The last time Amon-Ra St. Brown played the Jags, he had 11 catches and 100-something yards. It could be a big game for him, too. So, yeah, I'm going to say Carlton Davis, Jameson Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a couple here. I see Juicy J was over there throwing some chats up. May have taken some of mine. I'm going to do this. Are you ready? I'm going to switch mine up. Real time. Defensively, there's a man we want to see just continue to just dominate. We haven't seen it all year. Haven't seen it in a couple years. We got to see it last week. Why not let James Houston go out there and dominate again? I'm not saying he's going to, but if I'm looking at it, for this team in the future, when you've lost Marcus Davenport, the commish, Aiden Hutchinson, you eventually needed these guys to step up and make plays. James Houston finally did it last week. This is one of those weeks. Again, you guys remember the last time we played the Jags. He had, I think, 3 sacks. Was it 3 sacks last time versus Trevor Lawrence? Dominated. Dominated.
I like it.
We're right back where we started his rookie year at Ford Field versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Don't know if it was the same exact week, but the man already feels like deja vu a little bit, fellas. I want to see James Houston out there dominating, maybe get a sack and a half. I just want to see it again. I want to see the pressure again. Like no penalties, nothing. Just go get some pressure. Offensively, I'm going to switch up a little bit too. Saw someone in the chat say run the ball. Just give me the whole offensive line. That offensive line. I want to see this offensive line. Last week, there were struggles to start the game. The run game wasn't great. Jared Goff all game, all 4 quarters, was getting under pressure, was getting hit. Whether that was because Taylor Decker was out or whatever it was, it just nothing felt like it was what it usually is. I want to see this week with Taylor Decker finally back. You have a full offensive line, healthy. I want to see these guys go out there dominating the run game. I want to see Demont go get 50 plus. I want to see Gibbs get 75 plus. Like, I want to see these guys dominate. So I think offensively, the offensive line as a whole, I want to see go out there and dominate this football game and be an absolute reason why the Lions beat this team by 40.
I didn't even know this. Steve said, you guys see the Penei interview? Dude's pissed at his own performance. He's going to be a monster Sunday. Of course, Penei would just, it's like a side storyline. Dude's just furious. Like, I mean.
Bro did get cooked. He did get cooked a couple of times.
There was a move Danielle Hunter had that was nasty. But Penei, like, I don't even worry about that guy. I mean, he probably pisses himself off. You see, like, that Tyson interview? That's Penei, probably before every game. He gets into that kill or be killed mode. He's probably going to go out there and just pancake 5 people. I mean, seriously. Penei's always a guy to watch. You see, I know people that's been trending with Penei, the whole offensive player of the year thing. I mean, Mina Kimes said something about it. Jeff Saturday. People are actually saying Penei Sewell should be like in the running for like MVP or offensive player of the year or something. Number one, an offensive lineman has never won any of those awards. So I don't know. But it is funny. Out of all the offensive linemen in the NFL, people mention Penei for being like offensive player of the year nominee. And these are like reputable people too. Reputable people.
Hey, I'm all for it. And you want to know what? I saw a tweet. I can't remember who put the video out. There was a tweet out there of a podcast that had talked about it and was dead serious about it, like starting the campaign for it. I instantly went and looked at the sports book. I was going to go bet on it. I was like, and I think whoever it was, I think they actually have their own vote. And they're like, I'm voting for Penei Sewell.
What?
And guys, I legit, I don't think it's that crazy. When you're talking about offensive player of the year, you're talking about MVP, right? You look at both of those awards. You look at like who's the most valuable player on your offense, whether it's the running back, the quarterback. Guys, like what does this Detroit Lions offense start with? What's the main source? Run game and pass game. What is it?
It's the offensive line. I mean,
the offensive line. Who is the star on that offensive line?
Penei Sewell.
Penei Sewell. Like he is your best. He is the best offensive. Not even best. He is the best player on the best team in football. If they go out there and get the 1 seed and they win 14, 15 games, and you're looking at it and you're like, who's the best player on this? Why does this team do? It's Penei Sewell. Like when they're down versus the Texans, what did Ben Johnson say? I'm going to run the ball behind that man. Like, and they did that. They didn't just run the ball. They ran screenplays where he was pulling out and lead blocking multiple times. Like, I think there's a legit chance, guys, and I went and looked at the books. I was like, I want to go put it in now before people actually start talking about it. I think there's a chance. I don't think we've ever seen it before. You're going to actually have a conversation and a legit conversation and be held like accountable saying Penei Sewell could win Offensive Player of the Year. Don't think it's that crazy. I really don't.
Could win it?
Yes.
I think it's crazy.
I don't think it's that crazy. I bet you that that's going to start. There's going to be. There's a chance he's even a final. Like, I'm not kidding, dude. I legit think that people are going to start talking about it at some point.
Look, he's one of, if not the best players in football, but an offensive lineman's never going to win that award. They're not. They should.
Why not though?
I know. I don't think this year. I don't think Penei Sewell is going to change the narrative. And you have guys like Derrick Henry having a huge season. Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow's having a great season. Like, those guys are going to be up there for the award. Jamar Chase as well. I mean, Penei, he's a fucking dog. He's, like I said, one of the best players in football. But I don't know, man. I would love to see it, but I think it is. I think it's a little crazy to say he has a chance to win it.
He might have a chance to get like a vote or two. Mina might be able to cast a vote and give him one, but
I think they're going to start the
he won't
narrative.
even crack top 5, top 10.
Top 10? Well, we can't really vote on it because they never released.
Yeah, why don't we give Boone a vote?
I would love a vote.
Let Boone put in Penei Sewell.
All right. I get it. Sounds crazy. There are things in football. It's the same.
Crazy.
It's the same thing with Aiden Hutchinson, Defensive Player of the Year.
No,
and I was very no. Let me finish.
I'll let you cook.
Let him land the plane.
What did I? The reason I said Aiden Hutchinson will win Defensive Player of the Year this year was because these awards are narrative based. They're media driven, right? Like, you have to have some sort of storyline. You have to get the media and the people who vote. You have to get them on your side. It was the same thing for me with Aiden Hutchinson, and that was, remember, back in February when we first started. Like, I first had the clip that said Aiden Hutchinson is going to win the award, and I broke it down. I didn't say it was because he's going to have 20 sacks, none of that. I said week 1, they play the Los Angeles Rams in primetime. He goes out there, gets a couple sacks, dominates. People start to notice, and in your primetime, people start to talk a little bit. And then once they start talking, they start watching. And then as you go through the weeks, Hutch is going to slowly, he's going to slowly gain that. When he had that 4 or 5 sack game, it was even more. And that was exactly what was happening. He had the whole writers, he had the media, he had everyone on his side. It was a narrative that was being written that he was the Detroit Lions, hometown team. He's dominating the league. He's leading the league in pressures. I think there's a point in this season, and it started last week, when Jeff Saturday, Mina Kimes, and then whoever, I can't remember the podcast, the clip that I saw. I'll have to go on Twitter and find it again. I should have liked it, or I should have sent it to one of you guys. But when they start actually not just being like, keep an eye out, no, actually saying, hey, he should win Offensive Player of the Year. Not that he should be in consideration or be the top. All 3 of those people, who most likely all 3 of them have votes, all say he is the best player in football. He is the best player in football on the best team in football. When you add all that together and you look at it, obviously you're probably not going to give him an MVP. That's a quarterback's award. How can we reward this guy? Why not give him an Offensive Player of the Year award? And I know Jahmyr Gibbs and D-Mount are great players. Who is always out front blocking and making these big blocks? Penei Sewell. Who is protecting Jared Goff? Penei Sewell. Who is pulling and who is out front lead blocking for some of these screens? Penei Sewell. He single-handedly almost helped you with this Texans comeback. Like, every single time they had a big play, it's like, oh, Penei Sewell's at the front of it again. I get it sounds crazy, but once the narrative of the media starts to turn a little bit, that's when you start to realize, okay, maybe this is possible. That's what it comes down to.
My thing is, and I love the enthusiasm, but I feel like we've heard the same thing about Trent Williams, like in the past with the Niners, where they talk about he's the best player in football. And then you even got guys like Christian McCaffrey and Brock Purdy who are great, but people say that Trent Williams is that guy, and that's in the last couple of years. So, I mean, Penei Sewell, like you said, he is the best player on the best team in football right now, but it's just not, like, there's no way to – so, like, if you were to have Derek, because let's say that Lamar Jackson wins MVP, Derrick Henry's probably on track, if not Saquon, to be Offensive Player of the Year. What case are you going to make for Penei outside of he's the best player on the best team in football? Like, I just think when you stack it up, there's no hill to stand.
I know you look. No, there isn't. But you're just looking at stats. There's no stats for offensive linemen. At some point, he is the best player on the best offense. If you don't have Penei Sewell, you're not doing what you're doing. It's the same thing with some offenses. If they don't have Derrick Henry, look what they were before with that. Like, look at some of these other players, Saquon. Like start being objective about it. Let's not just look at stats. Let's look at, hey, how does this guy affect the offense? He is the best player on the best team on the best offense in football. You take him out of the equation, it's donezo. So you have to that argument is so voided to me because there's no stats. Like you just were like, where's the stat? You literally just asked me, where are the stats? He's an offensive lineman.
I think I get what you're on, like where you're going with it. I just think the toughest part I will say I think the toughest part for an offensive lineman, the reason why they don't win these awards is because it's even though you are correct, he is the best player on that unit, it's still a unit. You know what I mean? Like that's where it gets tough.
But you can have that argument for everyone. Like, running backs can't win it because they have they're a unit with the offensive line.
That's not even the same thing though. Yeah,
dude, he has two top 10 running backs that he's helping. Like those guys aren't running for what they're running without a Penei Sewell in front of them. They know that. Jared Goff's not doing what Jared Goff's doing without Penei Sewell. It's the same thing, vice versa. Like,
yeah, but I get that, but that's why
I don't know how else to explain it.
No, I get what you're saying. That's just the reality of it. Like they're the best offensive line, and you know Penei is the best player, but I like quarterback award. I get that because the most important position, wide receiver, because one wide receiver can stand out amongst a crappy wide receiver core, you know, like and still have a great offense. Running back room, like if you like the Lions have the best running back duo, it's hard for each of those guys to win an award for that reason because they're both so great together. You know,
why are they great together?
Because they're great players, and then
they are for sure. But who's blocking for them?
They're great players, but they're running behind a great offensive line. Absolutely,
great Penei Sewell.
Okay, then Jared Goff should have never been in the MVP conversation then because they have the offensive line, the best offensive line in the league. We're going to use your argument. Okay, it doesn't apply. You don't like it. You don't like it when it doesn't apply. But I'm just saying. All right, I'm just saying. Speaking of that, Jahmyr Gibbs, you guys see Jahmyr went on Richard Sherman's pod and said he almost got drafted to the Bengals and the Cowboys.
I'd be so mad if that dude was on the Cowboys.
That he said those are the two teams, and he was on Sherman's podcast. I'll play the clip here so we can listen to it. But he kind of dove into it. So here's Jahmyr Gibbs on kind of the pre-draft process and where he almost went. And we'll keep everyone on screen here just so we can avoid anything. But here's Jahmyr Gibbs.
Say we need one in the first round, and they came and got you. Did you expect to go there?
To Detroit? No, I really didn't. I mean, I knew they liked me, but like, you know, when you go on a visit, I mean, it seems like they all like you. So, I mean, it was crazy. I knew for a fact that Dallas was going to get me at 26 if I was still there. And a couple other places like Cincinnati was going to get me at I think they was going to trade up at like 18 or somewhere around that range. But I didn't think I was going to go 12.
But the Lions say we need one in the first.
Maybe there were other teams that almost took a running back in the first round, huh?
Rumored that the Patriots would have as well.
He didn't say, and he didn't mention the Patriots. I'm surprised. That was like the big report. But there were other teams that were interested in Jahmyr Gibbs. I don't know if they would have gotten him at 18. And I will say, okay, guys, and I know this always goes. I get it because I'm the guy vocally that says I wouldn't take a running back in the first round personally.
Don't re-sign him either.
And that's just the unfortunate reality of it. God, I sound like every time we do this, I sound like just a douchebag. But let me put it to you like this: when you have great running backs that come out, like Derrick Henry wasn't a first round pick. You know, I mean, he wasn't. Like there's guys that are, and there's guys that aren't. And guys that are typically, you know, sometimes don't stay with the team that drafted them anyway. Like Christian McCaffrey, first round pick. Look at it, you know, and he's on the 49ers. Saquon on a different team. He was a first round pick. So that's my philosophy. Like the Lions have, when you're really good at drafting, you're going to have to pay guys. And I think running backs fall kind of down in the pecking order just personally, because I think when you look at positional importance, running backs are not very high on that list. But I don't say that to take anything away from Jahmyr as a player. I think Jahmyr is a fantastic player. Obviously, Brad Holmes knew what what he could do specifically for this team. There were other teams that knew as well. Like, he would have been drafted no matter what in the first round. So I don't even want to like – I don't want to say I know more than Brad Holmes here. That's not what I'm saying. It's just a preference thing. That's just me personally. But Jahmyr is a very, very fine player. He is very fine player.
Fine? You say fine?
He's a great player.
There's a situation, Jeff, and I'll just be quite frank with you and quite honest with you. I do agree with your point of running backs. Like, there is a sense with running backs, they are easy to replace. That's why you see running backs' careers are shorter. Like, it's tough. I actually watched a video today of Todd Gurley talking about his career. He played 6 seasons in the NFL. Todd Gurley. One of the best, I would say, like, one of the most electric running backs I've ever seen in my life. And I know I'm young, so I haven't seen a lot. But Todd Gurley was electric. He was on a show, and he was just like, after 6 years, he's like, I made 40-something million. I was like, I'm done. Like, I just don't, like, I don't really need to do what I do as a running back anymore. He was done. He had even a chance to go back to his hometown team. I was like, I'm not going to do it. So, like, with running backs, they are easy to replace. Their careers, some of them are quick. But Jeffrey Enriquez Iafrate, there are certain running backs who are on a different level. Example, Saquon Barkley was on, we saw last night. Christian McCaffrey, we've seen him. Jahmyr Gibbs from the Detroit Lions, he is in that category. I think there are about maybe 3, maybe 4 or 5 clots. If I'm missing anyone, you could throw them in there. Derrick Henry. Thank you. Sorry, I apologize. And I love the King too. But like Alvin Kamara. Yeah, and that's a great example actually, because you see the Saints. The Saints have stuck with him forever. So I think there are maybe 4, if you want to add Alvin Kamara, and there are 5 running backs in the NFL that you just do not move on from. You don't. Like, you pay them their money. And I think a lot of and Jeff, that goes to your point a little bit with these running backs that you're like, you don't take them in the fact that there were multiple teams that are like, we need Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, if he's available, that's our guy in the first round. That should make you sleep a little bit better at night. I'm just saying. Like, it should make you be like, all right, we weren't the only one that was going to go first round with Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, he is that elite level to where he is worth a first round pick and he is worth a contract extension because he is on a different level. And if you want to start pulling stats, well, he doesn't know what CMC's done. He doesn't know what Saquon. Those guys aren't sharing the backfield with David Montgomery. They're not sharing the ball with Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta. You can maybe argue CMC, but even then, who is his backup? When he was going and doing what he did last year, he didn't really have a backup taking snaps away from him. It was him back there full time. So, yeah, he's a generational back, as Tyler Chavez said. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is a generational type player. Like, if he was by himself in the backfield, he would be rushing for 1,700 yards right now. That's just a fact. He would be getting 20 carries a game. Maybe his expanded C, or I might have butchered that word, may not have been as long, but now you have Jahmyr or David Montgomery with him, where it makes his career even longer, to where you can extend him comfortably, knowing he's not going to get hurt, and it's not a long-term situation.
Yeah, very well said, Bill. I couldn't have said it much better, and I'll just say, like, as far as the running backs are easy to replace, I think, and especially when it comes to drafting, like, you can find that for any excuse ever. Like, if you look at wide receivers, A.J. Brown, 2nd-round pick, Tyreek Hill, 5th-round pick, Puka Nacua, 5th-round pick. Like, a lot of these all-pro wide receivers, just like running backs and just like a lot of the positions in the NFL, come in the later round. But to Booner's point, there's some guys that are just different. And Jahmyr Gibbs, why he's so valuable and why I think it would be a good idea to sign him, especially if there's no major injuries, is he's going where the NFL is heading. When you look at these players that can do it all, that is Jahmyr Gibbs. And he can simply just make plays that I'm trying. Maybe Devon A-Chain from time to time can make the plays that Jahmyr Gibbs does, but he cannot stay healthy, and he also shares a backfield. So I think long-term, right now, in my opinion, out of Penei Sewell, he is the best player on this offense. He's the player that, with the run-first offense, he's been the best player over the last couple of stretches of games for the Detroit Lions, and he's only going to get better. When this offensive line naturally degresses because Taylor Decker's getting older, Frank Ragnow is going to be getting older, you need a guy that can create plays, and I don't think there's going to be a guy in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round of the upcoming drafts that can do what Jahmyr Gibbs does, because he's going to be good for a long time. When you look at running backs that leave a team, and we'll just use this offseason. New York Giants, they could sure use Saquon Barkley. The Cincinnati Bengals could sure use Joe Mixon. The Raiders could sure use Josh Jacobs. And those guys are not at the level of Jahmyr Gibbs. So when you look at 3 years down the line, is David Montgomery still going to be David Montgomery? He might be all right, but he's not going to have the burst and the change of direction of Jahmyr Gibbs, because Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be 25, 26 years old and still going to be able to play a lot of football. So Jahmyr Gibbs down the line at the 12th overall pick, you look at the other 12th overall picks and even the guys like Kamara who weren't there but can do it all, they stay re-signed and those teams covet them because they make plays into those offenses' identity. And I think when you look at Jahmyr Gibbs going forward, if it's not going to be Amon-Ra St. Brown, it's going to be Jahmyr Gibbs as the most valuable playmaker on this team. So I don't think that's some guy they just let go because by default he's a running back. I just don't think he fits into that running back mold, especially where the NFL is going.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are 100% right. Like, the running back position is typically seen as, replaceable. But you guys are right. Jahmyr Gibbs is just different. Like, he has the ability to just take over the game offensively, and he's in a perfect situation. He was drafted to a perfect situation. He's sharing a backfield, which actually helps him. So it's less carries on his legs, so he's going to be able to play longer, and he's behind the best offensive line in football. I'm not going to lie. I was one of those guys at the time when we took him at 12. I thought there were, more bigger team needs. But I look like an idiot now because he is one of the best offensive players in football, and he's totally changed this Detroit Lions offense. And who were the two teams? Cowboys and who else? That
Bengals, I think.
I would cry, I think, if I had to see this guy on another team and he wasn't in a Lion uniform. I hope he's a Lion for life.
I would hate to see him take like the Aaron Jones route. Like if he were to stay within the division.
Oh, that would be I don't think that would happen. There's no way. I think Jahmyr Gibbs gets re-signed. I don't think there's a way Brad Holmes lets.
If
Jahmyr
Monty got re-signed, I'm sorry, Jeff. Gibbs is getting re-signed.
No,
unless there's a traumatic injury.
I just want this isn't. I don't want this to be like I'm trying to hate on Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, I think Jahmyr is very talented. I think he's one of the best backs in the league. Like, all that is very true. The reality is, and I'll even ask you guys, and I'll speak for myself in terms of like positional importance. Like, if you're Brad Holmes, let's say you guys put on your GM hat, you're in his office, and you're looking at the future. And you could even count the guys he's already re-signed, but you look at a priority list. Okay. Got to re-sign our quarterback, right? That's the most important position in football. So you go to quarterback. Who would be the next important position you guys would say on a football field? Who's the
offensively?
Yeah.
Both. Tackle. I actually agree with that. So that'd be Penei, already re-signed. So who would be the next? I would go personally defensive end. Yeah. So he's going to be re-signed. Next player, I would go personally wide receiver. I think wide receiver is one of the more important positions in football. I just think Amon-Ra re-signed, so he's next. Where are you guys going now? Because I would say corner personally.
Yeah, but I do think like you're not gonna have to re-sign Terry. I think Carlton you will, but I don't think Carlton's gonna be like an expensive piece to where it's like, oh no.
Hold on, I'm not done. Trust me. Yeah. Okay, let's fast corner. Who would be the next most important position you think?
This is where I'm gonna cut you off for this one for the Detroit Lions. I will say running back, because when you look at it, when you look at running backs, linebackers, safeties, tight ends. They're all in that same tier of easily replaceable. When you have an elite one, you don't let them go. Like, especially linebackers. Linebackers and running backs, I think, go hand in hand. If you want to say defensive tackle, I could hear you out on it, but I think that's the same thing. Like, you saw the Lions, like, they could have got Jalen Carter. They put Benito Jones out there for a year and we're stopping the run. But when you have that elite player like DJ Reader, there's a different impact. So I think when you look at this offense, if they were the Miami Dolphins, Kansas City Chiefs, like a team that does not depend on the run as much as the Detroit Lions do to carry them, then I'm going to say, okay, maybe I can hear you out for a different position. But when you look at this offense, how heavy it is on the run, I will say running back next. Running back or defensive tackle, one of the two.
I would go defensive tackle because this team prides itself on stopping the run, and they just gave Ellie McNeil the bag, so they'd probably, obviously, they value it too. I'm not saying Brad thinks it's more important than running back. Personally, I just think with like importance, I would go defensive tackle. That's me.
Like, would you go defensive tackle over extending a Christian McCaffrey?
Well, you got to give me a defense like Chris Jones or Chris McCaffrey. Chris Jones.
No, I'm not talking about Chris Jones. I don't think I'm just talking about like an Ali McNeil or Chris McCaffrey.
Well,
I'm asking you, and you can't say. Like, I'm asking you who.
That's not even relevant. Christian McCaffrey's the best back by far in football. Liam's like a top 10 tackle.
It is irrelevant. That's where I'm at.
Like I would say that, like
that's
Boone,
what
you
I'm
can ask
asking
me
because I
this,
think
like,
Jahmyr Gibbs is on the level of running backs to where you
But
can't
we're
like
not talking
Klatz's
about players.
point.
I'm talking about positions. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, okay.
The
Yeah,
question
But I
is-
think
you
the players matter. I think
Jeff,
the players matter.
Like, yes, like that's where I think this is like a little out of context to where I think Jahmyr, and I think this is where Klotzy's going with it. And Jeff, I agree with you on position.
No, you're not understanding the point.
I am complete. All right, go ahead. Because I do understand. You
thank
just
you.
always say
No,
I don't understand.
No, because it's not. We're not going because again, tackle. If we're talking about the Jags,
Klotz,
tackle.
you want to explain to him?
No, because if we're talking about the Jags, tackle wouldn't be second, guys. So we got to change. Like, no, this is football. Like, what position?
But we're talking about the Detroit Lions. Like, I get it. Like, you are right with the positional value. All right.
I say I can't even make an argument. Like I'm trying to make it's this is like an exercise I'm trying to see for you guys what positions you guys value.
You're good. You're good.
Thank you. Like that's all I'm doing. We're not talking about players right now. Defensive tackle, I personally think is more important than running back. Now I didn't say a specific I'm saying defensive tackle. To me, when talking about football, can affect the game more than a running back. I personally, if you disagree, that's fine. That's what we're talking about. Not Jahmyr versus Aleem, or I'm just talking about defensive tackle. We're talking about positions. That's all. Because I'm going to get to running back. It's coming soon. So I personally think defensive tackle. Honestly, guys, next, I would go safety. I think safety.
No,
dude.
No,
I would go safety. I'm serious. Like I would go safety. I would because I think, and if you want to go Boone, if you want to bring up players, bring up Brian Branch and Kirby.
You're not bringing players up now. You just had that against me bringing up a player. Go ahead. Stay with positions. Do not do that.
Okay, someone's upset. I would go safety. So go your response to that. Go ahead.
Hey, Caleb. We'll take this over.
If you have a top,
Right.
if you could have a top tier caliber safety like a
if
Brian
I could have
Branch.
a top tier caliber safety or top tier caliber running back, personal preference, I would go running back because you got one on the field. Safety, you can have two. When you look at if you lose Brian Branch, you got Kirby Joseph there. And you could say the same thing with David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, but they're not on the field at the same time. And I think there's more of a supporting cast. So I think when you look at running back, safeties, again, I said safety, linebacker, defensive tackle, tight end, like all including with running back, they're very close. But me personally, I'm taking running back because you only put one on the field. You can pay two of them with safety, but when I go look at that, I'm going running back.
There you go. So you think running back.
Okay, if we're not so we're not talking about a specific team or a specific players. This is just generally.
If you're building a roster, what's more important to you as a position?
Okay, I think a safety has the bigger opportunity to be an absolute game wrecker, like a Brian Branch, like a prime Tyrann Mathieu, guys like that. So I'd probably say safety is not necessarily I guess you could say the more.
I think it's close.
Position.
I don't think it's a big difference. I'm just asking if you think safety. I would put running back right in that area. I think it's right there for me personally.
Yeah, I agree. But again, I 100% get your point. Like I know what you're saying, and
we're 7 positions in. That's my point.
Yeah.
So if Brad Holmes if Brad's thinking about this from a GM's perspective, I don't know what positions he has ordered. I'm just doing an exercise here. He would look at this and say, okay, quarterback's number 1. I re-signed Jared. Tackles 2. I re-signed Penei. Defensive end, you got to re-sign Aiden. Wide receiver, he re-signed Amon Ra. Cornerback, you're right, Boone. They still have guys on rookie deals. Okay, we'll go to defensive tackle. He just gave Aleem McNeil the bag. Personally, I would focus on getting Kirby and Brian locked up before I get to Jahmyr. Personally, I would rather have them two under contract long term, and then whatever's left, we can figure it out. You know what I mean? And Jared's contract's only going up. I'm curious how this kind of all works. And we're talking also like, maybe they re-sign Carlton, like corners on here. I would re-sign Carlton personally. So that's my mindset. That's the exercise here is like, we did this because I wanted you guys us to talk about the importance here. That's my point. It's not Jahmyr as a person. It's just positional importance. And as a GM, you have to think about those things. Am I comfortable letting go a top safety or a top running back? And this is what Brad Holmes probably has to juggle in his mind, and that's personally like when you brought up Klotz, the wide receiver thing. I think you brought up like wide receiver and running back kind of, you could say the same thing about wide receivers, because some receivers go later.
Position,
Yeah. I would personally disagree because I think a top 5 pick wide receiver, like you're seeing it. Personally, I would value more like Jamar Chase. Like you see the Bengals, they said we'll have Chase Brown at running back as long as we keep this dude. That's just my opinion on it with wide receiver. I think wide receiver is more important. I know it's quarterback dependent, but a wide receiver can make your quarterback look way better. You know what I mean? Like, look at, that's my point. But yeah, that's all it is.
Fair.
Yeah.
And the only other thing that I would add on to this too is I get what you're saying about locking up Kirby and Branch first, but I don't think Jahmyr Gibbs would command that much money just because running backs really don't get paid that much.
I don't know what it would look like. I don't.
Yeah, and it's too far to see, but I think you could still Jahmyr is not the guy that I think you're gonna have to necessarily break the bank for, especially he's gonna have a 5th-year option too. So it'll be interesting to see. But I think DeMont signed for pennies, obviously older in his career, not on a rookie contract, not as good. But I don't think Jahmyr would take all that much money compared to a wide receiver. Him and Amon-Ra's contract are going to be not even close. So that's why it's just unless he's commanding the house, I don't see a reason not to resign. But
yeah, it is going to be interesting kind of seeing Brad Holmes's priorities position wise, because like you just said, Klotzy, he did lock up David Montgomery when none of us really expected him to in the middle of this year. And in terms of the draft, I think I think Brad Holmes just looks at, and I think the way he drafts is going to be the same way he's going to go about extensions and stuff. I think he just looks at the best football players and not necessarily positional value. So honestly, kind of to round this out, my opinion, I think Jahmyr Gibbs will get extended quicker than we think.
Yeah, and again, for other teams, I would say when I put tackle second, by the way, is the most important. I think you can even say offensive line. You know what I mean? Or whatever. I think offensive line is important. The Lions obviously have a great offensive line. So that's just my take on the whole thing. But we'll see. Maybe Jahmyr Gibbs, he does get resigned and Brad finds a way to work it out. But I would think as Jahmyr sees with running backs are getting paid, he might eventually. Who knows? I don't know. He might be I want to get paid like a top running back, or he just I'll take a discount to stay here. I don't know. I really don't. I think he should get his money because running backs in the league, go get your money, man. I don't know if it's here or elsewhere, but he should.
The money for a running back's 15 to 17 million. If you give Gibbs that, I think the value wise of all of these position groups are fine. I think it makes sense. All of it makes sense. I think there is different value to different players, but you also then have to start looking at how can you where can you I guess it comes down to do you think you can go get a I don't know, can you go get a safety that can replace a percentage of Kirby Joseph's production to add with Brian Branch? Because guys are going to have to walk. You're not going to be able to extend every single player on this football team. Now Gibbs, when you start looking at the different levels of players, you're going to pay Brian Branch. You're going to extend Brian Branch. You probably are going to try and extend Kirby, but it's not going to be for as much as Brian Branch because you can't. You money wise, it's impossible to do it. And it's for the running backs, he's not going to walk away from Jahmyr Gibbs. So yeah, the positional value, it's there, but when you look at the best players at their positions in the NFL, Gibbs is top 5, Brian Branch is top 5. You have to pay those guys and keep them. And if you want to walk away from them, that look what the Giants did with Saquon, and look at the stuff that the backfly. And I know they have a lot of money, but look about the backlash that they're getting now, seeing what he's doing in Philly. You just don't let those tier guys just walk like that. NFL teams just don't do that. You don't. Tyreek, I think, is the last one to do it. But again, you look at the positional thing. Wide receiver, you have Tyreek over a running back. Wide receivers over running back. They were able to fill in wide receiver easy. And I know you have Patrick Mahomes, but in this offense and in this team, you have to be able to see where can we fill guys in. There are different spots that you're going to be able to fill guys in. Corner guys, corner might be more positional, better positional value. You can go out and get a corner that is going to be able to kind of produce. And like Carlton Davis isn't the best corner in the NFL or top 5. He's probably top 15, but he's not top 5. So you're all right, let's just go. If we have to go draft another corner, Terrion moves over and ends up being that guy. And then I don't know, you have to find ways to do it. And I just think to let a guy like Jahmyr Gibbs ever walk would just be, that would be crazy. It would be crazy to me. I think you have to pay the money and let someone else walk. I think you're able to go find different guys throughout the NFL and free agency or draft, in the draft, the way Brad's drafted, that you'll be able to fill in. But you're not finding another Jahmyr Gibbs.
You know what I think they'll do? Just real quick, and then and it's not even because when I just look at the contract that DeMont just re-signed Jahmyr in year 2, I think what they're going to do is re-sign Jahmyr, replace David Montgomery, because I think it's easier to replace David Montgomery, and that sounds like it's a bad thing, but I just think Jahmyr is so hard to come by. That's what I think the long-term plan will be. Well, I could be wrong, but when I look at just the two running backs and the contracts and how they line up, 3 years, I think that's what they'll end up doing. I think it's not easy, but you can find Jeff, your guy Braylon Allen. He can do what David Montgomery is doing, but I don't think he can do what Jahmyr Gibbs is doing. So I think you can find running backs like that later. And I think when looking at it, that's what Brad's plan is. Could be wrong, though, but that's just when I look at it.
I will say about the Kirby thing, personally, I don't know Brad Holmes. Brad Holmes obviously knows more than I do. I'm just giving my opinion on this. I would rather have Kirby. I would give him, because I think Kirby has Hall of Fame potential. I do. I think he has, like, for a guy to have, what does he have, like 12 picks in 3 years? Like, he is a interception machine. That is, I think that's hard to just go get. You know, and I'm not saying Jahmyr's easy, but if you had to rank them a productive running back, maybe not to Jahmyr's level, but with this offensive line you currently have, might be a little easier than getting a guy who's
Put him to Zach Moss. Moss.
No, I don't want to go to Zach Moss. I don't.
Hubbard, throw him in.
And I would even say, like, corner. Like, I think corner is one of the hardest positions to hit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just because I think it's one of the hardest positions to play, period. You know what I mean? So
if you had like a Sauce, like, I'm re-signing Sauce 1,000 times out of 1,000 over Jahmyr. Like, say both are just consider both those guys like in their prime, top of their positions. Like, I'm with you there. Like, if you can't re-sign both, you got to pick one. Give me that.
I think when you look at the positional value, you have to, like, when you're looking at it, then you're looking at where do they rank at their position in the NFL. Like, Sauce is top 5, right? Like, Gibbs is top 5. All right, now we look at positional value. Sauce, corner is more important. All right, you're keeping the corner. But like when you're when you're looking at positional value and you're like top 5 at this position versus top 20 at this position, you're probably going to go top 5 even if the positional value at that position is not ranked as high. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's how you have to look at it a little bit. Like the corner situation, you're in a spot with Carlton Davis where he's probably top 15, 20. And when you're sitting there really looking at it, you don't have to pay Terrion for 4 years. And with the fifth year option,
replace him.
And then you have Ennis maybe becomes corner 2, and then you can extend Carlton for a price of essentially 2 corners. Like, for, you know what I mean? Like, you can do that because you just got Terrion Arnold in the first round with the 5th year option. So, and then it's like, all right, you could re-sign him for 2 years, and by the time that 2 years is up, let Carlton go, and you extend Terrion. And if he's taken that step at that point, he's your corner 1, and now you have Ennis. Like, it all makes sense. I think Brad's doing it the right way. I do think he's doing it the right way. And I think these guys get re-signed. I think the biggest conversation, to be honest, when we're looking at extensions, I think it should start turning into this whole Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch situation, because you're going to have to, like, the both of them are going to want big money.
I would say, just because they're different in draft class, I would say almost like Kirby and J-Mo, because they're.
I'm just saying the safety situation. I'm just saying with safeties, like, because you can't have 2 safeties, the top 5 paid safeties in the NFL after you just extended Jared and Amon-Ra and Penei and Aleem and probably Gibbs at one point and like J-Mo, like there's going to be all these extensions coming in, and then you're sitting there and you're like, all right, now we have 2 of the top 5 safeties in the NFL. Like, we can't afford top 5 safeties. Like, obviously, Brian Branch is the best defensive player in the NFL right now, so that's the one. But, like, does Kirby take less? Like, I think that needs to turn into a question at some point.
Yeah, it could happen. I mean, honestly, I will. I mean, we'll find out. I mean, and if you hopefully Terrion Arnold can just fill that spot next year, and you don't have to re-sign Carlton, which will allow you to re-sign put more money to whoever. So we'll see. I want to get up our records for this week's pick'em. I have them. And we'll see the updated records. Last week, it was tough. I should have known with all the heavy favorites. I went with my heart, and I was wrong on basically every favorite.
You have a good heart, Jeff.
It was bad. All the bad teams covered, and I lost. I think I went. 3 and 5. Me and Klotzy and Mike, I think, went 3 of 5. I could be wrong.
Get Caleb his record too for the week. I could say
I had a good week. I had a good week. I'm starting to see the board a little bit better. I'm really happy about this. I'm excited to do this. Last week I was very upset seeing that board. I'm feeling good now.
Last week's
record.
Yeah, it's still not pretty. It's still not pretty.
Hey,
Caleb last week went 5 and 3. By the way, I went 6 and 2. Klotz and Mike and Jeff went 3 and 5.
Yep. Hey, we're clawing.
My record was going to be a little better than that.
I got a lot.
Yeah, I should have known. I thought I was so slick. I picked the Chiefs to cover, and I go, yeah. If you didn't know, teams that get blown out 60% of the time they cover, and I picked the Chiefs, and I didn't pick the fucking Broncos. I don't know what I was doing. I thought I was slick there. I took an L either way. But we got a good slate this week of games. And
Great slate.
Why not? Opportunity to be better. You know what I mean? Opportunity to improve. That's what it is.
Jeff,
I haven't gotten the green yet. I went from red to yellow, and I'm back down to red by a game.
That's tough. That is tough, Klotzy.
There is
not the
all
ball
these games
nor
are
green
great.
in the red.
All these games are great this week, by the way. Like
Great
these are
games.
great football games.
All of them.
Caleb,
It'd be a good.
And we
weekend of
watched
football.
the Jets and the Colts. That one's going to be a barn burner.
It's
Okay, besides that one, that game.
Browns
that
and
game
Saints.
sucks.
Come on now. Can't wait. Can't wait.
Oh, come
okay.
on. You got 1 point spreads. You got Bills, Chiefs. It's a good
Great
week
games.
of football. It's a good week of football.
It is.
So hold on. First game in the NFC North, huh? Packers, Bears.
Yeah.
Packers coming off a bye week, going to Chi-Town. New OC in Chicago, huh? It's rough.
Who is it? I don't even know.
It's
who it is.
it's like the quarterback coach, I think.
Yeah, I think it was our pass games coordinator.
Like
And
their passing
Caleb-
game was great. I mean, what are we doing?
What's
here?
crazy is Caleb did a press conference and they were like, "Hey, how many conversations have you had?" He was like, "I barely have talked to him." He was like, "I haven't had a lot of Like, dude, that's your pass. No wonder you guys haven't won. That's your pass game coordinator. You've never had You've had a couple conversations. Like, you should have been having that many every day.
Yeah, shoot him out of a cannon.
Did you guys see the interview where Eberflus was on the phone with Chicago's 97-1?
Yes.
And he kept breaking up, and he's like, "Hey, Matt, your phone service is almost as bad as the offense right now." Dude, could you imagine someone saying that to Dan Campbell?
Never.
Oh my gosh. And you know Matt can hear it. Matt can hear it
Oh,
too.
Yeah, he just
Can't
Well-
say anything back. The guy went off. He was like, "Can we get this guy a phone?" Chicago Bears head coach.
Well, guys, I mean, the Packers are favored by 5.5 in Chicago. I mean, and I guess, Boone, you go first, and no Mike, so that means I go second, then Lucas, then Caleb. So, Boone, 5.5 point favorites, the Packers. Talk to me here.
Yeah, I mean, until they fire Matt Eberflus, I will not take the Chicago Bears. I just don't think it's right. I think the Packers are going to win this game by a touchdown. I don't care if it's on the road or not. I'm usually the home dog type of guy. Give me the Packers every day.
dog.
There's no way I'll ever bet the Bears this year until Matt Eberflus gets fired. Honestly,
Love a home dog, Boone.
I do, but not this one. Remember
Home
last
dog,
week?
Boone.
Last
Home
week I
dog.
went on the whole rant about the home dog. I took the very
You
first
only
one,
picked one.
and then the next 4 times there was home dogs. I took all the favorites. Yeah, give me the Packers though, -5.5.
You're fucking sick. You're sick if you take that.
No, this is tough. Yeah, it's disgusting.
Hey, bet with your head, Jeff, not your heart, brother.
No,
Come on.
I'm taking the Packers here. You nailed it. I'm not taking the Bears as long as Matt Eberflus is coaching. I don't think. Honestly, I will not take the Bears the rest of the year because even if they fire him, it's still like the stench. It's still like the Eberflus stench in the game.
What did I teach you last week with the Saints? I taught you a very, very good life lesson.
Yes.
Yeah.
I taught you a very, very good life lesson in the game of football.
No, that applies to I think every situation but Chicago.
Every situation. Period.
He's right.
I
Boone's
promise you, dude. I've done the last 4
Take
years.
the Bears. They fired their
When they
OC.
fire, as soon as they fire Matt Eberflus, the first thing I'm doing is betting their next
No,
game.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with the Packers. I'm gonna go with the Packers. I think the defense is gonna. We'll see. I don't know if Jair's playing, but their defense is capable here. Yeah, give me the Packers. I think they win by a touchdown.
Yeah, this is probably going to be the easiest pick of the weekend for me because Matt LaFleur has not lost in Chicago yet, and they're coming off a bye. Jordan Love, he played a stinker in the first half of the season last year, and in his first game ever, he won in Chicago. So that Eberflus defense is not going to face Jordan Love, even if he's banged up, even if the offense isn't moving the ball. They really just got to score 17 points and they'll win the game. So yeah, I think that they're going to win and they'll cover that 5.5 point spread.
Yeah, man, the Bears suck. This is awesome to watch them being terrible. However, Boone, you are right. They fired the head coach. Teams play well after they fire, or they didn't fire the head coach. My bad.
I was like, whoa, did I miss something?
They fired the OC. teams play well, after a coach firing, I don't care. I mean, Packers minus 5.5 is easy to me, I feel like. So I'm going to take the Packers.
All Packers. I love it.
All right, we're staying in the NFC North. Vikings visiting the Tennessee Titans. Sam Darnold coming off 3 picks. The fans are pissed off at Sam Darnold. They hate him. And they visit, and they're taking on the Tennessee Titans. I think Will Levis gets the start. Vikings 5.5 point favorites. 5.5 points. Booner?
Give me the Vikings. Give me the Vikings. There's something about another home dog.
Yeah. What's up with you now? You switching the philosophy, huh?
I've been stuck in
Will Levis. Will Levis. You got it.
You got
the Titans played who did they play? Oh, the Chargers, and they lost
27-17. They lost to the Chargers by 10.
Yeah.
At home, they've lost by 3, 16 to the Packers. They've lost to the Jets by 7, the Bears by. Give me the Vikings, man. I know I like the home dogs. It's more so home dogs with like favorites though, or not favorites with like absolute like dog teams. Yeah, I don't like this one. Just give me the Vikings 5.5.
Honestly, I struggle with this one too because I picked the Vikings last week and I lost, even though they won. But
that's even better. Double down.
Yeah, I'm doubling down. I'm going Vikings. There's no way they play this garbage back-to-back weeks, right? There's just no way. Like they have to cover this line. The Titans stink. Will Levis stinks. Give me the Vikings.
I'll be the odd man out.
Oh!
I'll be the odd
Let's go,
man
Klotz.
Listen,
Will Levis?
It's not even Will Levis. It's when you look at this Titans defense. I think it matches up not good, but when you look at Justin Jefferson, got L'Jarius Sneed. So I think that's a matchup they can bang with. Up front with TJ Hawkins, you got Quandre Diggs, you got Aaron Jones. I give you Jeffrey Simmons. I think this defense will be able to do enough to cover the 5.5 point spread. I think Sam Darnold seeing ghost again. I could see probably 2 or 3 turnovers, maybe not just by him, but Aaron Jones, whatever. I think there'll be a couple turnovers. They're not going to win the game. Will Levis can be turning the ball over. He's going to be Will Levis. But I also think he makes probably one of those fluky plays where they put the ball in the end zone. Tony Pollard's been on a little bit of a hot streak. So give me the Titans to cover. Give me the Titans.
I'm with you, Klotz. The number I had was 6. I actually already placed it, but I had 6, but I'll take the 5.5 too. This is a perfect example of the Vikings being a team that is due to lose, and the Titans are due for a win or like a really, really close game. So I'm going to take the Titans here plus 5.5. Betting on Will Levis is a tough thing to do, and it's gross, but I think he'll get it done for us this week, Klotz.
All right, let's ride, Caleb. Come on now. Coming to my foxhole, Caleb.
Next game. I like this one, huh? Browns at Saints. Saints are favorited.
This is a shit fest.
This is
what's the line?
This should have been off the.
What's the line?
Saints are favored by 1.5. They're at home. Jameis returns to New Orleans.
I've got a pick here. I have a pick here. There's only one team to pick, and if you guys go against this, I don't know if you guys know football. And I do mean that, bottom of my heart. Give me the Cleveland Browns in that defense with Myles Garrett. There's no way that I don't care what you guys think. You take the team when their head coach gets fired, but the week after that, it's the biggest letdown week of all time. It is the biggest. They just had the biggest high of their season, and then you go and now I know the Cleveland Browns they're both 2-7 teams, both bad. The Browns just have the defensive line. I know they just lost to Darius Smith, but like guys, I'm telling you, this Browns will win the game outright. But I'll take the Browns plus 1.5.
Yeah, I mean, this is the problem. I wish I can go first because then now it's like I'm copying you, but it's the right answer. I mean, how do you not take Jameis Winston visiting New Orleans once again? I mean, he's going
to dominate them.
He's returning to New Orleans, and you're right. I mean, I'm trusting the defense. I'm trusting, even though Jameis is going to probably throw a pick in this game. Nick Chubb's getting healthy off a bye week. Nick Chubb, watch out for Nick Chubb. Give me the Browns upset.
Yeah, give me those shitters on the lake. Give me the Browns. No Marshawn Lattimore in New Orleans anymore. Jameis returning home. No Chris Olave. And I just think I said it before the season, boys. And I understand why the first 2 weeks he could have got caught in that mirage. But I said the Saints are going to be picking top 5, if not be the worst team in football. And that's what they are. So give me the Browns. Jameis, I think he's going to be throwing the ball all around the yard. Cedric Tillman hit the over yards. I don't know why he loves that boy Cedric Tillman, but he does. He does.
I love it. Give me the Saints -1.5. I'll be the lone
gosh.
dog here. I love it. Saints at home.
I wrote down Cleveland for Caleb too.
No. Look at this guy. I mean, he's ready to go. Mr. Derek Carr.
Derek Carr.
Yeah.
He's ready to go. I know this is the Jameis revenge game or whatever you want to call it. It's the Saints' time. I think they're a better team without Dennis Allen. They actually are a better team without Dennis Allen. Give me the Saints -1.5. Or was it 1? Do I get 1 or the
1.5?
do I have to
1.5.
I'll play the hook. Whatever. 1.5. Saints.
Yeah, Caleb. It's just the guy just showing.
That
grit.
was gross. Look, it's like one of those things where it's like you want to bet on the Titans. Now relax and come back down to earth instead of doubling
You're
down.
betting on Jameis Winston, man.
I would rather bet on
Jameis
Jameis
Winston
Winston than that Saints
I'd rather
team
bet
right
on
now.
Jameis Winston than Derek fucking Carr. With
I think they're on.
yeah.
I think they're on even playing fields for gross.
If that's the
betting.
truth, then the other
They're
one
They're on
has,
even playing fields.
if that's the truth. The other one has Myles Garrett going up against him. It's over. It's done.
Hey, well,
There's no way.
next game.
relying on Pulse and Adebo making
Hey,
plays.
This
for it
game,
now.
right
The
here.
W's, the Jameson W's.
This game,
It's
right
gonna be a
here
gritty
is what
win, but-
matters. Colts with Anthony Richardson starting, visiting New York to take on the Jets. Jets are 3.5 point favorites. 3.5 point favorites. Where you guys going? Jets, Colts, AR's back. Boom.
Yeah, I'll say this. First of all, I'm never picking a team that's going through a quarterback situation like the Colts right now. I won't do it. Will not do it. It's 3.5. I know everyone's going to be on the Colts here because the Jets are so bad. This is one of those games the Jets win. They've won 3 games. They've won 3 games this season so far. They have covered over 3.5 all 3 games. Give me the New York Jets. I think they win the game, and I think they win by about 5 or 6 points here. I know it's an ugly pick. It's an ugly pick. I'm sorry I had to do it though. I just don't see it. This Colts team's in shambles. If you guys watch the Pat McAfee show, obviously they're in Indy and he's a Colts guy, and I don't know what. This is just like a top down problem. Like this isn't just like a quarterback. Like this whole they have all these players that they paid, can't figure it out. Colts can't figure. And I know the Jets are in a similar situation, but just give me the Jets. I trust them more. I don't know why.
I'm going with Brick. Jeff Olbrick. All right, the fellow Jeff. Hey, Jeff, I'm rocking with the Jets this week. You know why? Because Jeff Olbrick, high IQ, played a tackling tutorial in the meeting room with all the players.
Oh, yeah.
Players hated it. Rumors are the players hated it.
Players were like, this guy fucking stinks. But you know what? When they left, they got better. And you know what they're going to do this week? They're going to tackle well, and they're not going to have to try too hard because Anthony Richardson's going to go like 11 for 46 and 2 picks. So give me the Jets. They covered this line at home.
Talk to me.
Yeah, this one's easy, guys. You have a first ballot Hall of Famer in Aaron Rodgers or Anthony Richardson who's going through quarterback change.
Give
me Anthony Richardson. I wasn't told. He might go 11 for 44, Jeff, but 3 of those things are going to be 30, 40, 70-yard touchdown strikes to Alec Pearson. In between, he's going to hit Josh Downs on a single over route, and Jonathan Taylor's going to be doing it what he does. Now, the thing you guys aren't thinking about, and the thing you guys haven't been watching with these Colts, Grove Stewart, he's been there, but
Big Grove has. He has.
You know who hasn't been there, though? DeForest Buckner. That man is going to make Aaron Rodgers uncomfortable, and they're not going to be scoring that many points. It's going to be close, low-scoring game. Jets will win, but it's going to be less than 5.5. Those Colts cover. They cover. They cover.
No, it's 3.5.
That's fine.
Yeah,
That's fine.
I mean,
5.5. Does it change?
And it's going to be a field goal game.
Uh-oh.
Bet it.
Klotz, I couldn't have said it better myself.
Oh.
I mean, it's all Colts this week. And you know what the Jets also don't do? They don't stop the run. And with Anthony Richardson and Jonathan Taylor, they're going to give the Jets problems this week. I also want to point out that I don't know if you guys use the app Pick'It. You look at all your picks and stuff. I am 0-7 betting on the New York Jets. I will never put my hard-earned money.
Thank God, because I'm on them. Thank you.
Jets team. No,
Jeff,
this is
we're good. We're good, Jeff.
I'm
hot
right now.
No, it's
I'm
good.
hot.
He's 0-7 betting on the Jets. He's not on them this week. That means it's good. Now they're about to win.
No.
They're about to win.
I've almost bet on them like every week of this year.
Exactly, and they've lost. Now you're off of them. They're going to win.
This team is Hey, the Colts aren't just covering; they're winning the ball game this Sunday. They're winning.
No.
Yeah,
Caleb's bringing all of his bad juju to the Colts in class.
I've stubbornly been on the Jets all year, stubbornly, and
they stink. They're a bad football team. I will never put money. Last year, I said they were my. I love that team coming out of the AFC. I can't even speak right now. I'm so mad at the Jets. Fuck the Jets. That's all I'm going to say. Colts winning the game.
What'd you say?
I said fuck the Jets.
Okay, hold on.
Oh, Caleb.
Whoa.
That's weird, man.
Yeah,
what was that all about?
Yeah, you just cooked and they had nothing to say, so they're trying to make it seem like you said something.
Hey, appreciate Dante151. Thank you for the $5. Is 9 wins away from having a better record than last season, which is sad for the Pistons. Colts are a mess, but they should be better than the Jets. Dante's rocking with you guys there. Shit, Booner. Damn. Okay, no, we're rocking. We're going strong.
Jeff, I just want it known. And Caleb, I love you, brother. So this isn't it.
Yeah, no, go ahead, man.
I know he had a good week this week. Look, he's won 11 games, Jeff, and him and Klotz are on the same page.
It's a new season.
The red.
New season. No.
This is the thing, though.
You hearing this guy?
A lot of people, when they're down, they like to chase. They have a good week. I'm going to chase it again. Last week was a week of dogs, and Jeff, you picked all the favorites with Gentry, and I faded a lot of them. Guess what? I'm the one that's been hot all year. I know when to go back. I don't chase. I don't jump back and forth. I know this week is a favorites week. Last week was a dogs week. This week's a favorite. They can chase. That's why they're in the red and we're in the green, brother.
I'm not sitting here reaching for wins. I have one in my hand right now, and it's the Indianapolis Colts.
Caleb, when you got to talk like that, it tells me one thing.
That's a mic drop.
Convince yourself because you got insecurities lurking, Caleb. We don't got to explain ourselves. We know where we stand, all right? No, Sometimes you got to let the clown have the circus. And that's
I might write that down. I might write down what Boone just said. That was a fucking bar.
There you go.
Wasn't a bar. Wasn't a bar.
Last week,
let's go, Klotz.
It wasn't even a granola bar.
Who's the MJ security guard?
Right? That shit was not a ball.
Okay, all right.
I mean, you two are talking. You guys have the worst records. You guys are both in red.
Hey.
None of you.
We can't turn it around.
Yellow one. You've never
turn it around.
Long season. We got some returning players coming back from injury. Okay, we're getting Darius Smith. We're getting Emmanuel Mosley. We're getting.
All right, let's get to the next game. Come on.
I will say,
hey, don't act like me and you haven't been in the
we're on complete different ends of the spectrum here, buddy.
Boone, we were right one spot apart from each other last week.
And now where we at? I took over.
Hey, Boone took a jump.
I took over.
Hey, the next stretch of games I'm about to go through, brutal. Like these, I struggled with. I took me probably 10 minutes each to sit there and just like think about who I want to take. So these games, we'll start off Ravens at Steelers. Ravens 3-point favorites. Ravens Steelers. This is going to be a great game. This is going to be a great game.
Ravens Steelers.
Yep. Ravens favored by 3.
Where's the game at?
It's in Pittsburgh.
All right, this is the easiest pick of all time of the week.
Yeah, it is, Boone. We couldn't pick it last week.
I couldn't last week just based off narratives, and we lost because of it.
Yeah.
This week, I'm right back on it. And guess what? Last week it was on the road. This week, we're in Pittsburgh. Give me Mike Tomlin. You never bet against Mike Tomlin at home. It is going to be the closest game of closest games. They're only going to, if they lose, they'll be by 1 point. If not, they're going to win the game outright. Give me Pittsburgh +3. Is it +3.5? Let me check the line.
Well, it's 3 here. It might have moved. I don't know if it moved.
I want to see if the lines move. So maybe whoever takes Pittsburgh, we get the hook here. Let me check. It's 3. That's tough. All right, we tried. I tried, Caleb.
Do we have a clarification? What happens if it's like a push? Do we get a win or what happens?
It's a push. No one's had a push this year yet, surprisingly.
Yeah, I hate the 3 line because I think it could be a 3-point game, honestly. I
don't even know how to take a push into. Yeah, we'll figure that out when it comes.
Yeah. This one I struggled with bad. I went back and forth. Hey, Boone, when you're indecisive about a game, you're already lost. Like it's like I've already lost.
At that point, you trust your gut. You just go with your gut.
My gut's telling me I'm going with the Ravens. I'm going with the Ravens here. So give me the Ravens. At the worst, I think at the worst it'll be a push. I think it's a 3-point game. So give me the Ravens.
Good thing you're using your gut, not your brain, Iafrate. Take the Steelers here. Take the Steelers at home. We've seen this Ravens defense.
Mr. Unlimited.
At some point, this Ravens defense, it's going to click. It's going to find a way to mesh together. No, it's not. That defense is just bad. That Pittsburgh defense is always what it was. It's always going to carry them into the playoffs. Mr. Unlimited Russ, he's going to have a nice day. He's not going to have the prettiest day, but he'll have a nice day. These Steelers, they're going to cover, and they're going to win. Give me the Steelers at home. Never bet against them. You said it perfectly, Boone.
Easy pick here. Give me Mike Tomlin at home. And I will say this. If Pittsburgh wins this game, if they go and beat Baltimore, which I think they will,
the division.
They're winning the division, and we have to start talking about the Steelers being a Super Bowl contender out of the AFC.
Do love that.
Like this, if they win this game, what else do they have to prove? Truly. I mean, Russell Wilson's playing great football. That defense is elite. The running backs have been playing well. George Pickens has been breaking out a little bit. I mean, this is a really, really, really good football team. And this is going to be a great game, but I think Mike Tomlin gets it done at home.
Yep. Russ. Stocks high. It might fall. That's right. Hey, we'll see how it goes. But I guess he has
going to be against the Ravens fucking defense, I'll tell you that much. Nate Wiggins on George Pickens? Find out. That's why you don't draft that man in the first round. You'll find out. Find out his fault. Baltimore fans at the beginning of the year were asking him to play defense. They asked him what happened. He's yelling at him out of the stadium.
I'm going to be honest. Not a confident pick, but I'm going with my heart. Because you know what? I play with hearts. I'm like Sewell. I'm going with my heart here. All right, next game.
He said I play with my heart.
If you want to make some money, Jaylen Warren, anytime touchdown.
That's a good one.
He's due.
Yeah, Najee will have like 2 yards of carry, so I'll probably go with Warren. All right, this next one, it gets tough. Falcons at Broncos. Broncos -1.5. -1.5. Falcons at Broncos, Boone.
I think this is an easy one. You know what? I thought the Broncos were a legit like playoff team. I thought they're gonna have a chance to make the playoffs. They still might. They've lost 2 in a row, and in that point, like if they lost a game, and I've been confident with them, I think I might have actually taken them last week. I can't remember. I typically would go with the Broncos, but they've lost 2 in a row. They're not looking that great. The thing with the Falcons is they're coming off that loss to the Saints. That was such a bad loss. I think there's a sense of them in their head. They're like, we have to bounce back. Like we can't go 2 straight losses to this, like lose to the Saints and then Broncos. So I think I just see Bijan scoring like 2 touchdowns and Kirk Cousins just playing out of his mind. I know that defense in Denver is really good. I'll take the.
You know what to do, Boone. You know what to do, Boone.
That's a good team, Boone. I like that pick.
I'll take Atlanta. +1.5.
Those dirty birds, Jeff. Narratives colliding.
So here's, yeah, it is. It really is narratives colliding.
Your offensive rookie of the year, Bo Nix.
Okay. So this is where I'm at with this. It's an ugly, like a 1.5. Like, I just hate everything about this game. This is where I'm at. Okay. I'm going to go with the Atlanta Falcons. But I hate this. I fucking hate this. Honestly, this game stinks.
Yeah,
dude.
this one's a tough. There's a couple games today that are just like
defense is so good. But Bo Nix, like, I don't know how they continue to score points. Like Sean Payton is like a wizard. Like who do they have at receiver? Sutton. Fucking
Son's been great. Son's been great.
I know, but like who? I mean, who are they throwing the ball to? And they're finding ways to score like a bunch of points. I mean, last week they didn't score, but usually like against bad teams, they're putting up points. But I'm going to go with the Falcons here. Ugly.
Yeah, I'm going with the Falcons as well. Those dirty birds. I know Kirk's kind of banged up, but he will play on Sunday. It was announced, so I'm going to go with him. Every week the Falcons have lost. They bounce back with the win. Can't say the same about the Broncos. They've had 2 games or 2 stretches where they lost back-to-back games. I think they lose this week, but then they'll get back on track when they play the Raiders next week. So Falcons, they'll eat up. I don't think they're going to blow them out, but I think they'll win by at least 3.
Yeah, I'm looking at it here. I might be missing a game, but Sean Payton has absolutely dominated the NFC South so far. And that's why I'm going to go with Denver minus, would you say 1.5?
Yeah.
Give me Denver minus 1.5. I'll be the lone here. I 2 tough losses for Denver, but I think they're a really good team. I think Bo Nix is starting to figure out the NFL. And yeah, I'm not saying Atlanta. I think Atlanta is going to be a wild card team. I think they're a good team, but
They're winning that division.
Denver, yeah, yeah, probably. And,
I apologize.
Denver's. Go ahead.
I didn't write any of your guys' picks down. Can you guys all just say your picks again?
We're all Falcons except Caleb.
Okay, that's fair. Caleb, I like the confidence.
I like it. -1.5. I like that pick.
Yeah, Caleb
At home.
And I just saw Kirk's like he's been on the injury report, but he's expected to play. But I swear to God, if it's Michael Penix, I'm gonna be on my knees like damn it! I should have picked. I should have picked the Broncos, bro. But we'll get there. I'll go with the Falcons.
What's this guy doing,
dude?
What's this guy doing?
Now he's gonna play the fucking. Okay, I deserve that. But I will be.
I didn't mean for it to be on repeat. I
will be distraught.
I don't know how to fix that.
Better word choice. I will be distraught if Michael Penix plays because the Broncos are for sure winning that fucking game. Love Penix though. All right. Next game we got here. Seahawks at 49ers. 49ers favored by basically a touchdown. I mean 6.5.
Easy. 49ers.
Yep.
They blew them out last time, and then the Seahawks have gotten worse. Give me the 49ers.
Yeah, I'm not going to overthink this.
CMC
49ers.
like 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, is anyone picking the Seahawks? I mean,
No.
Klotzy?
Gino's 0-6 versus him. Not changing now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was easy.
He's taking this game personal. It's not good.
He said that?
Stephen Smith. Yeah, he said he's taking this game personal.
Yeah,
That doesn't scare me whatsoever.
Yeah.
Chiefs, Bills.
Yeah, Chiefs, Bills -2.
Give me the Bills -2. Listen, the Chiefs, and I'll just show it here. The Bill, and what people don't know about the Buffalo Bills, if they've won 5 straight games, they're in an absolute great spot right now. They're playing their best football. Listen, the Chiefs. Hold on, I want to just pull it up real quick here. I just want to show like these wins that they've had. They have been winning games, yes, but they're winning these 1-possession games. They beat the Broncos 1 possession, Tampa 1 possession, Vegas 1 possession. New Orleans, 2 possessions. Chargers, 1 possession. Atlanta, 1 possession. Cincinnati, 1 possession. Baltimore, 1 possession. Like they just 1 possession. Guys, a Buffalo Bills team at home that's playing their best football of the year with an MVP candidate with Josh Allen. They are going to win this game. I think it'll be by at least a field goal. They're going to knock the Chiefs off. Chiefs finally lose.
I'm sorry, Boone.
No, it's fine. You went against the Chiefs last week, I think, and I went Chiefs. So I like this out of you.
No, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. I mean, no Dalton Kincaid, no Keon. Amari's questionable.
Why are they favored then with all of that?
Because they're at home and they're a good team. But
if they have all these guys that are out, you think about the Vegas. Vegas knows something we don't. If they have all these guys out, why are they still favored? They shouldn't be favored.
Last week you went all home dogs because Vegas was wrong.
I know Vegas.
All right,
he's got a contact in his phone that says Vegas.
I run Vegas.
If Josh Allen, I will say, I'm going to go Chiefs. But if Josh Allen pulls this off with all these wide receivers and everyone's out, he will be an MVP case for sure. But I'm going to rock with the Chiefs. More healthy, better, great defense, more healthier offense. Give me the Chiefs.
Nope. Give me the Bills. I've been saying it. Chiefs. They're just not the same offensively. And with the Bills right now, they got some guys out. And I just think Josh Allen's going to find a way to make plays. That defense, I think, is going to be able to do a good job on Patrick Mahomes. I really think that the Chiefs are going to struggle moving the ball. They'll be putting up points as the Chiefs, but I think they're settling a lot more for 3 instead of 7 this week. Give me Josh Allen. Give me James Cook. Give me the Buffalo Bills at home to win this game. Hand the Chiefs the first loss of the season, and everybody's going to be looking at the Chiefs and the Lions a little bit differently than they were before. So, give me the Bills to win.
Yeah, this bet for me was placed 2 days ago or yesterday. Boone, I'll answer your question. This is why the line is Bills -2, because Vegas is thinking – I'm smarter than Vegas, by the way, and when it comes to this game. Vegas is thinking the Chiefs have to lose at some point. Not happening. Patrick Mahomes, straight up as an underdog, is 11-3, and he's 12-1-1 against the spread. And he's dominated the Bills. I am never going to bet against Patrick Mahomes as an underdog. Give me the Chiefs. And give me the over also. That can't be a part of my record, but over 46.5. I know the Bills are shorthanded on offense, but those games always are high scoring. Give me the over. Give me the Chiefs. Love this pick.
Caleb,
all right. Final game.
Tough luck.
Cincinnati going to LA to take on the Chargers. Bengals-Chargers. Chargers 1.5 point favorites at home. Boone?
Easiest game of the week. Give me the Chargers -1.5 at home.
Okay, I'm gonna go Bengals. I think T. Higgins plays. They need a win here.
He is expected to play. It was announced.
Yeah, they need a win here. And I think the Chargers, they're overperforming their roster.
Jim Harbaugh's not losing to Taylor. Not happening. The man's taking the league by storm.
He is. I've called him one of the best coaches. I mean,
he's unbelievable. Did you guys see the video of him dropping the catch?
Yeah, he's Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah. Did you see that?
No, I didn't. No,
Dude, he's on the field in pre-games, and he's catching passes from Justin Herbert and drops it. He's mic'd up, and he just goes at himself. He just got so mad at himself for dropping a catch pre. It was one of the best things of all time.
Yeah.
Give me the Bengals.
Give me the Bengals. Give me those Bengals. I think that this is going to be a game where Justin Herbert has a good game, but I think it turns into an offensive game, and I think that does not favor the Chargers. So give me the Chargers, the Bengals to cover this. I think they win too.
I feel the Chargers. I could feel it.
Give me the. I don't know, Klotzy. That's a good point. If it does,
come on, Caleb, don't go with your gut.
Give me the Chargers.
Okay,
Chargers. I'm taking the better coach here.
Thank you.
That's a good point, though, Klotzy. If this is a high-scoring game, the Bengals are going to win.
It's not going to be, though, because of the defense. Jamar Chase can get his. It still won't be high-scoring.
T. Higgins is back, too.
Have you been watching?
I like the Chargers.
I promise you it's going to be a good game, but the Chargers are going to win this game.
Give me the
no
Chargers.
doubt.
The Chargers are a good team, but I'm
very good team.
All right, that'll wrap up Pick'em for the week. That'll wrap up Pick'em for the week.
I love my picks.
They won 3 straight.
The only one I just don't like, I still don't like, is the Broncos-Atlanta game. That game I will not watch. It's going to haunt me. Because it's
that the only one that took Denver?
I think so, yeah. And that's what makes me even more. I hate it. I just hate the
Caleb's all over the place with picks.
This could be a big week for Caleb.
He is opposite.
A big week.
Like half of the games he's with me, the other half he's with like Klotz. He's up and down here. It's something. It's something, man.
Let me see.
Chiefs might be a reputation bet too. I haven't declared it yet, but it could be.
Can we do Booner bets and then the Lions score predictions? We got about 3 minutes.
Yeah. I'll throw up your bets and then we'll give out our score predictions here. I'll throw up your bets. Boone, you get big weekend.
I just want to make sure people have some money here.
Hey, Boone, what'd you go last week? What'd you go last week?
I didn't check, so I apologize. I did not check. I could check after. All I know is every week we're at least going like 3-2. We're making money. That's all that matters. We went on that streak for about 3 or 4 weeks where we were 4-2. Yeah, I love this week. I love this week.
Bro's got the green wave, staying local to his roots.
Tulane, if you guys remember, Booner's best bets of the week. You guys remember I took over in college football, and I took over the Tulane program. You guys see that guy right there? Mekhi Hughes. Mekhi Hughes, absolute dog as a freshman last year. I think he had like almost 2,000 rushing yards. He's an absolute dog. But Caleb, I think I was texting you about this. I was talking to someone this weekend about the Navy overs. Navy was like 7-1 in their overs on the season. And the last 2 weeks I've bet on them and I put them in my parlays and done everything. And they've gone 0-2 the last 2 weeks in overs. Guess what? They're going up against a legit offense this week. Tulane, Green Wave, they are legit. They will score 30 points on you. The only way for you to be able to win, even keep up with Tulane is to score points. So the 50.5 is an easy number. Missouri, Mizzou plus 14.5 versus South Carolina. I want to pull something up here because I want to tell you guys something about this Mizzou team. Caleb, I think it might have been me and you, Caleb, had conversations about Mizzou. Am I wrong? Was it Mizzou or was it who was it that we had this conversation about?
I don't think it was me.
No, it was West Virginia. I think we had the conversation, actually. Now that I start to think. No, I think it was you, Caleb, when you first started on the show. I talked about the quarterback.
Yeah.
And you were like, every time I bet on them, they don't win. And I think I bet on them. This was the Texas A&M week. And I was like, take Mizzou. And they went into Texas A&M on the road, and they lost 41-10. I'll tell you what, since then, they've won 45-3. They beat Auburn 21-17. They lost to Alabama 34-0. And then they played Oklahoma and beat them 30-20. There's something about this Mizzou team, guys. They're 7-2. They're ranked now. And I think they have a chance to make a little bit of noise. 14.5 points on the road versus South Carolina seems like too many. Give me Mizzou plus 14.5. This other bet, Josh Allen, he did not hit this last week, guys, but I'll tell you what, he has hit this like 5 straight weeks before that. Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes. Caleb, you're the one that said it a couple minutes ago. I think you said the Bills-Chiefs games are always the ones that go over, like double overtime. Josh, there's no way versus Patrick Mahomes in Buffalo that this man, I don't care if Keon Coleman's out, Kincaid's out, Shakir will have a touchdown. Amari Cooper will have a touchdown. James Cook will have a receiving touchdown. Josh Allen's throwing for 2 touchdowns versus Patrick Mahomes. That's a fact. That's an easy bet. In the Lions game, I always give 1 or 2 here with my best bets of the weekend. I think Demont and Gibbs both get in the end zone. Guys, you combine it, it's plus 161. It's an easy win. That's an easy win right there for you. They're both going to get in the end zone versus the Jags. And then the last one, the Detroit Lions team total. I want you guys to look me in the eyes and tell me the Lions don't score more than 30 points on Sunday. Could anyone say that?
I mean, I'm not going to disagree with that. No.
It's the easiest bet of the weekend. Lions over 30.5. They scored 5 touchdowns on Sunday. Booner's best bets of the week. Made it quick. We got it done.
Booner, it is sad not to see Miami's over on there. I was loving
last
those.
week killed me, though. I know, but the last
I agree. They killed me this last week. Yeah.
I've switched to Navy. Even though Navy's been killing me, I'm giving Navy a chance. But I really just like Tulane. I think Tulane scores. They scored a high rate.
Real quick, before we give our scores, quick side note. Earlier, FanDuel was giving out like a free boost on a 30-point score. I took it. Who'd you take?
I took Donovan Mitchell.
I had Anthony Davis, and I was like, I'm just gonna sit tonight out. He has 40.
Oh my gosh.
Speaking of going with your gut. Should have went with my gut.
Guess who hit there? Guess who had 37?
You just said you had Anthony Davis.
I had it in, and I was like, I'm going to pass on it.
Go with your gut, man. I took Donovan Mitchell. He had 37. I hit mine.
He had 40. I just checked. It's the most disheartening thing in the fucking world. All right. Line score predictions, guys. Okay. I think we're all going to have similar scores, at least similar like deficits the Jags will have. I'm going to go Lions here. Clearly, I think they cover. I'm going to go 34-10. I think it's going to be that type of game to me. 34-10 Lions.
Boone?
You can go, Klotzy.
All right, mine's similar. I'm going to go 37-9. I think the Jaguars, they're going to get in the red zone maybe once or twice, but they are not going to score a single touchdown. Who? I sound like an owl. Who? There's not going to be a single person. That Evan Ingram, maybe, but I don't see that happening with Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph. Brian Thomas can get some yards, but he's not getting in the end zone. So give me Cam Little with 3 field goals. And the Lions, the offense, they go nuts. 37-9.
Yeah, I hate to be so similar to you, Jeff, but I had 35-10 in my head. I'll switch it to 35-14. I think the only reason they're going to score is because Brian Thomas might have a couple nice catches. But yeah, we're going to dominate this game. We're going to cover the spread, and we're going to leave this week 9-1.
Hey, I'm going to make this simple for the people. It's going to be a big game. Take the over, take the Lions 13.5, take the team total over 30.5, take Jahmyr Gibbs touchdown, take Amon-Ra touchdown, take David Montgomery touchdown, take J-Mo touchdown, take Jared Goff over 1.5 touchdowns, take his passing over. Give me the Detroit Lions 38, the Jacksonville Jaguars 17.
There you go. All right, we'll see you guys Sunday. We'll be live. Game day. We'll be at Naps City Garage downtown.
Hey, if you're in the area, come show up. Come hang out with us.
Downtown New Baltimore Naps. We'll be there. We'll be there early. We'll be there right when they open. 12 o'clock. We'll start, and then we'll go obviously all day until the game ends. We'll have our post-game show there. Shout out really to Danny for having us out. Pat, guys at Real Maker Beer for making it all happen. But we'll see you guys Sunday. Until then, have a great weekend. Stay safe out there.
Peace.
See you.